All right, ladies and gentlemen, here we are. We're back again. And for some reason, it's going to be a nighttime show, and it probably won't get near the views that the one did yesterday. Cheese and I decided off air, by the way, that if someone will just, give us a couple $1,000,000 or so we can quit our jobs, we'll start doing daytime shows Monday through Friday. Right, Cheese?
Here's the thing. Everyone was watching us yesterday. So maybe the fans, they want the afternoon. They're like, we don't need to work. Or at work, we can just listen to you. We can watch you. So I think that's what the fans want.
Maybe we'll have to deliver on that. But the problem with that is we're going to have to quit our jobs. And that's probably means that I'm going to lose my wife and Cheese is going to lose his girl. So I don't know if we can sacrifice that for all of you. I mean, we love you guys, but I don't know if we can sacrifice that.
Well, I don't really like paying bills. So then I won't have to pay bills if I don't have a job because I can't pay them.
That's true. We'll have to, buy our own homeless encampment or something. I don't know.
There's a lot of those in my area. So there you go.
Are there?
Unfortunately, yeah.
Yeah, not a lot of those around here. It's pretty warm in Arizona. They don't like to have homeless encampments where it's 115 degrees.
Where you have to get a tea time at 7 a.m.
Right?
Because if by 10 a.m. it's too hot to even be outside. Yeah.
It absolutely is. It absolutely is. But I tell you what, it's still beautiful and it's still better than rain. So I'll take sunny and hot as all get out over cold and snow any day of the week, buddy. All right, so let's give it to him. Cheese, on today's episode, we will play Dodgers Devil's Advocate.
Ooh, looking forward to this.
Actually defend them. Well, one of us will. Why was a Major League Baseball manager thrown out during a rain delay? We'll talk Shough, Brisett, and Levis here in just a moment in our All NFL 5 Flamin' 5 and 5. The Red Sox have been on an absolute tear. What does it mean for Major League Baseball and what does it mean for their team? We'll tell you here in just a moment. We'll play Lights Out Trivia. We will bring you the Lights Out stat of the show, something new. Wish a football coach a happy 101st birthday. Yes, that's correct. And Cheese, over 3,000 21 or under players have debuted in Major League Baseball, but one of them did something no one has ever done before. We'll tell you who and what he did. Plus, much, much more right here on the Lights Out Sports Podcast with me, with Cheese, and with all of you. But first, we have to do it the only way we know how. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is Lights Out.
Ladies and gentlemen, may I have your attention, please? Tonight, we rewrite the rules. The countdown has begun. The show starts in 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go.
All right, buddy. Seems like I just saw you yesterday.
That wasn't me.
Oh, that wasn't you?
That was a variant of me.
Oh.
He had more gray in his beard. I have less.
I did notice that. You shaved all that off. I was even watching your Packers video today. You still had it during the Packers video.
I don't know who that is, but yeah, that guy yesterday, he knew most of the players that were traded, not all of them. I was like, who? I had to ask you.
For those of you who didn't get
I had to ask you a
it.
few people, like, who is this guy? Like,
Oh, man. For those of you who didn't get a chance to watch it yet, we had a huge trade deadline special yesterday, wildly successful. There was over 300 of you who were with us live and a whole bunch more people who watched it after the fact. So we greatly appreciate it. That's why in the beginning, I know there's a lot more people on with us now than what there were about 5 minutes ago when we started all this. And we were laughing back and forth about how we'd have to quit our jobs and start doing stuff during the afternoons. But we loved it. It was a great thing to do. Trade deadline special was fantastic, Cheese. How did you think the trade deadline thing went yesterday overall?
Oh, it went great. It was a lot of fun, and there were breaking news every 5-10 minutes or something, and so that was a lot of fun. It's yeah, we'll talk more about these teams. I'm about to say stuff, but we'll talk more about what some teams did.
Yes, we will. We're going to talk a lot of stuff today. We vowed that this show was going to be a little shorter because we had the one yesterday. We've got the one. Wait a minute, on it, not yet. Hold on. We had the one
trying
yesterday.
To take my time.
I know. I'll fix it. Calm down. The old man will fix it. What people were not supposed to realize is I forgot to put it like down below down here where I can grab it and pull it right up. And I was doing that real quick while we were talking. And I guess everybody found out that I was doing it. So,
Okay. I see what you're doing. I'm on to you.
Are you?
I'm on to you.
Yeah, we're on to some of these bots over here too. So, they're already starting. It's just...
The comments or the bots?
Yes, both. It's not going to work, ladies and gentlemen. Look, we'd love to have your participation on here. In fact, we want your participation on here. But if you're going to do stupidness, it's not going to be on the screen anyway. So you're just wasting your time. All right. We'll just leave it at that and we'll move on with our lives. All right. So I'm excited for this. The pads are on, Cheese. And because pads are on, the 5 Flamin' 5 and 5 is going to be all NFL right away for you. For those people who have not been here yet, Cheese, I usually explain it. Why don't you explain it since you're going to be the one literally on the hot seat?
So Mike's going to ask me 5 questions. I have 5 minutes to answer all 5 questions. If I answer all 5 within those 5 minutes, then I won't burst into flames and die. A horrible death. And not only that, will I not die, which is great. I will also, Mike will ask me another question that went along with one of the 5 questions. So yeah, basically, I just have to make sure I get it within 5 minutes and I won't die.
Right, and we will fix the time here. So I'll pull it up on the screen, and I'll make sure we fix the time, all right? So you'll actually probably get an extra couple of seconds because I got to pull it back, and, yeah. You'll see. But I can do it. I can fix it. All right. So how about we just go ahead and jump right into this 5 Flamin' 5 and 5 thing? Is that all right, buddy?
Sure.
Let's
do it.
Sure, he says.
Let's do it.
Okay. Can you be a little more excited? Well, maybe this will help.
Okay.
All right.
Music is soothing. Helps.
Music is soothing. Kind of gets you in the mood for everything, right? And I'm going to switch up the number of questions here because I want to go to a question that I think is going to be a little longer first. And then we'll kind of jump into different things here. So I know you've probably seen the 5 questions already. We will do them in a little different order, just so you know. All right.
It's funny you think I actually look at the notes, but it's fine.
Oh, man. We'll tell you somebody who does look at all these because they do articles and stuff with us. We'll get to them here in just a little bit. Okay, buddy. So Will Levis, Titans backup quarterback, said, and I quote, "There are not 32 quarterbacks in this league better than me. I know that for sure," end quote. Would you agree with him? And if not, do you still understand why he said what he said?
I do not agree with that. I don't think he's very good. I think he's one of the most reckless quarterbacks I've seen since I've been covering football for over 20 years. I don't know where this is coming from. I mean, if you watch his film, you just watch some of those games he played. He was so careless with the football. I don't know. I don't know what he's mean. I don't even think he's a good backup. He's got talent. That's why he was a second-round pick. But no, I don't understand why he would say that, because unless he's just trying to like convince a team to trade for him. But why would anyone trade for someone that's that reckless? No, it's such a stupid statement. What an idiot! He's never gonna. The mayonnaise contract's gonna run out. He was the Hellman's contract or whatever. Idiot.
All right. Let's go to receivers for a moment, Cheese. DeAndre Hopkins put out the following post on his X account. It says, "I haven't retired from the NFL, but if you are a wide receiver and you want to be great, come to Georgia Tech." Can Georgia Tech, with his support, supplant Ohio State as wide receiver university?
Is this a serious question? You better hope Calvin Johnson is, takes some young potion and gets back to 18 years old. No, oh God, no. I mean, no. There's just no way. What a laughable statement. I mean, Ohio State, what they're doing is producing some of the best receivers in the NFL. And if I have a son and he's not recruited by Ohio State and he's a wide receiver, I'd send him to Arizona State way before I'd send him to Georgia Tech, because Hines Ward is the receiver coach at Arizona State.
Well, that's interesting. Here's another quarterback question for you, buddy. Were Tyler Shough outperform Baker Mayfield, Michael Penix, or Bryce Young and be the #1 quarterback in the NFC South?
You're asking questions, making it very difficult for me to finish this in 5 minutes. I definitely think Shough is ahead of Penix and Young. I think he'll be better than them this year. Baker, that's a tough one. I'm saying, oh man.
We're going to talk more about Baker Mayfield in a little bit.
Yeah, we will talk about more. I'd say he's not going to outperform Baker, but he'll be close. I think he's going to have a big year. And I made a video about this on my channel. I think Shough's going to take the next step and have a good year, but not quite before Baker.
All right, question 4 of 5. Will Jacoby Brissett be a starter for more than one NFL team this season?
What other team would he play for besides the Cardinals?
Okay, but now I'm going here.
Okay.
The Cardinals will cut him. They'll put Carson Beck in, and then when he gets cut, maybe he'll start for another team.
But he just got more money, so they weren't going to give someone more money than cut them unless it's non-guaranteed. I could see a possibility where someone trades for him because their quarterback is out 6 to 8 weeks, and we just need to get through those 6 to 8 weeks, maybe. But no, I think he'll be a Cardinal for the whole season. I'd say just one team. He'll just play for the Cardinals, but okay. He will not start all 17 games. No way.
Okay. All right. So we'll put that caveat on it. And, just because I want to poke the bear some more and see how grumpy I can make you before we start this whole thing, Cheese, will Ryan Clark be hired by any other sports entity, knowing the racial controversy that he will bring to their channel?
He's such a race baiter and a hypocrite and talks down to people. And what he just said to Peter Schrager was so disgusting. Peter Schrager probably celebrated Ryan Clark's firing.
You didn't get the invite?
I would say no. My instinct was no. But Jamel Hill, is that her name? Jamel Hill. She got another job right away when she was fired. She's horrible. So, and she's also a race baiter. So there might be some media out there that will hire him. So Yeah, someone will hire him just because he fits their political views.
All right, look at you.
Whew.
You did it again.
Ooh, I didn't think I was going to make it.
Yeah, those were little crazy questions. I have to give credit to a buddy of mine at work who loves this show, watches it on a regular. Childs, love you, buddy. I'm sure he's watching either live or let's not say that because he's probably at work right now. But he'll be watching later on. He gave me 3 of those 5 questions, just so you know. So if you didn't like him, there, you can blame him. I'll give you his email. You can just rip into him. All right.
They're good questions. It just they weren't. They were tough to keep it in that time limit.
All right. So yesterday, Cheese, here's your bonus question, buddy.
Okay.
Yesterday, we did a huge show on the Major League Baseball trade deadline. Now, the NFL draft is so much better than the Major League Baseball draft, and we covered that a few weeks ago. Yet the trade deadline is so much better in MLB than it is in the NFL. How can the NFL make their trade deadline more exciting like the MLB product?
They can't. It's just not going to happen. MLB has a huge advantage in that there's minor leagues. You have something to trade. NFL, it's just draft picks, and NFL teams draft picks, 4th, 5th, 6th round picks are so cheap. They value their draft capital, so a lot of teams don't want to give it up. That's all you can offer. I mean, I guess you can offer some young players, but most of the time player for player aren't traded at the deadline. MLB has the farm system, so that's a huge advantage. And NFL, the only thing they could possibly do is maybe move it back a few weeks to get more people buying or selling. Definitely more sellers. If you're say 5-5, I don't know what the deadline is. I don't know what I'm trying to think, and then you lose 3 and you're 5-8, maybe week 13. Do it later. That's the only way, but it's never going to be what baseball is. Baseball trade deadline is nothing like any other sport because every team has so many assets they can trade for. Every team has so many other teams like watching, scouting, whatever. Okay, we want this. Like some teams will value this prospect more than others. Like the Mets might say, I value this prospect more. Angels might say, nope, I value this prospect more. And you're like the Cubs, and you're like, holy crap, they want this guy. The Mets don't want them at all. Like it's just so fascinating that way. So NFL, the only way to do it is probably move it back a couple weeks, but even so, it won't ever be like baseball.
Okay, interesting. I can't believe I made the football guy say something was better at MLB than it is in the NFL. I mean, you
hands down. Oh, you know it.
I know it, but I'm the baseball guy, so I'm the one over here pounding the drum and singing the praises, right?
I'll just say this: every MLB trade deadline, I take the day off. I've never done that with football because it's such a nothing burger. Never done it.
Yes, but you also now, wait a minute. Did you take the Major League Baseball draft off? Well, you didn't have to because it was the weekend, right?
I didn't know. I didn't have to. It's the weekend.
Yeah. Okay.
But, no.
All right. I like these 2 new things we're doing. We're doing the Lights Out trivia, and we're also going to give you Lights Out stat of the show later on. Let's do the trivia right now. Kind of with the trade deadline. We'll talk about the trade deadline for a little bit. Then we're going to do some football stuff with Cheese, and then we'll jump back into baseball at the end. So, Cheese, here's your trivia question. The Mets traded away the number 3 and number 5 prospect to the Brewers to acquire this player. And then yesterday, they traded the same player to the Tampa Bay Rays for the Rays number 15, 26, and 27 prospect. Who was the player?
The Mets traded, I think I know who it is, but the Mets traded for this player like last year, right?
Yes.
Oh, yeah. It's Freddie Peralta.
It's Freddie Peralta, yes.
Yeah.
Isn't that funny how that works in the trade deadline stuff, though? Because so the Mets gave up 3 and 5. Obviously, 2 of their top 5 prospects. And then just a year later, they trade him away to the Rays because he didn't have a very good season. The Rays are probably going to fix him, and the Mets are going to be all kinds of upset. But they gave up 3 and 5, and then they got back 15, 26, and 27. Just kind of shows you how this thing works, right?
Yeah, I mean, prospect rankings. Well, you always can look back top 100 prospects. We go back 10 years, and you see guys ranked like 21, and they're like, "Who the heck is that?" Like, so maybe it's a good scouting play. Maybe 26 and 27 are better than you think. It's you never know. But you made a good point. Like, his performance was way worse this year than last year. That's why the Mets gave up so much for him. He was one of the best pitchers in the National League last year. But it's also, instead of a whole year, like the Mets got him a whole year when they made the trade, you're getting him for 2 months and possibly postseason. So you're not going to get as much. But it certainly, that is a huge downgrade if the rankings are correct. You never know. There are so many good MLB players and never top 100 prospects. So, but you never know. But certainly, it looks really bad for the Mets front office.
Right. So our buddy from Anubis Sports now, he says MLB has no cap. Any player can go to any team, and the NFL has a cap. So limited trade partners as well. It's something that Cheese actually didn't bring up, which is there is a actual hard cap, right, Cheese? Talk to us about that for a second.
Yeah, I mean, if someone has a $30 million cap charge and you're $3 million under the cap, it's probably not going to happen. You'd have to get real creative with your current contracts. So that is an excellent point. And it's probably why NBA trade deadline isn't as big either. You have to match in NBA. I'm not a huge NBA knowledge person, but I know you have to match trade salary within like 15%. So it doesn't make the NBA trade. Sometimes you just can't find a trade partner because you can't match contracts. So yeah, that's another reason why that MLB has just more trades. And yeah, the MLB trade deadline is just like you said yesterday. You enjoy it. You love the day. It's fun. It was exciting seeing these trades, and every time they predict, oh, this team is probably like going to get this guy, and then some team out of nowhere comes and trades for someone. Like who had the Blue Jays taking Jose Soriano, trading for him?
Yeah, nobody.
None.
And as we bring that up, that comment was brought to us by Anubis Sports. You can do that too. You just simply go to the comment section, type in what you're talking about, and as long as you're talking about what we're talking about, we will include you on the Lights Out Sports podcast. Speaking of Anubis Sports, they are the official sports website of the Lights Out Sports podcast. Check them out over at AnubisSports.com. They do not only Major League Baseball and football that we do, but they cover all the sports as well. So go on over, AnubisSports.com. So coming off the MLB trade deadline, Cheese, I want to focus on 2 teams. One, the Boston Red Sox, and the second one will be the Los Angeles Dodgers. We'll get to them here after the football segment. So right now, let's look at the Red Sox. On July 1st, Cheese, the Red Sox were 37 and 48. And the postseason seemed like an extreme long shot. Then they rattled off 15 straight wins. They went 21 and 4 in July. By the way, the best winning percentage in a month ever in the history of the Boston Red Sox, and capped it off by a 3-game sweep of the Dodgers in L.A. I have a really simple 3-word question for you, Cheese. Is winning contagious?
Yes. I mean, momentum. I think it's more momentum is contagious.
Okay.
When you win, like baseball, what's good about baseball is 162 games. So if you lose, okay, we play the next day. But when you lose 5 in a row, that's so much negativity. I mean, it's hard to stay positive to that. When you just keep winning, everyone's happier. Everyone's just, the locker room is like that. The flights, oh, we just won this series. The flight, everyone's happy on the flight. I played sports in high school. When we win, the bus trips were so much more fun on the way back. So I think momentum is contagious for sure.
Okay. So one of the bigger trades yesterday was the Adley Rutschman trade to the Boston Red Sox. What did that Adley Rutschman trade do to either help or hurt this current Red Sox team?
Well, I don't think it like hurts. I don't think it hurts them. Um, it they need a catcher. His numbers have dropped off, but he's still better than any catcher they have. So I think it helps. The only thing that really hurts is like the perception of what they gave up for someone that maybe they think can fix him. Maybe they see something in his swing they can fix. Who knows? But no, I don't think it hurt.
Okay.
No,
I'll disagree
I
with
wouldn't
you,
know.
but we'll keep
Okay, I was
going.
gonna say, what do you think?
Yeah, we'll build here for a second. All right,
Okay.
let's do one more question, then
Okay.
well, I'll tell you what. No, I'm gonna go ahead and pull it up right now.
Okay.
So I am gonna kind of disagree with you. Remember yet last
Okay.
week when we talked about there was a great trade, the Juan Soto trade, right? Well, the Juan Soto trade looked really good on paper, and the Juan Soto trade looked. By the way, 1-1 Dodgers and Cubs in the bottom of the sixth right now. There you
I
go.
know
I got
it's
it
on
before
this.
you
It's
did.
on the left TV or
Hmm.
that
Okay.
TV.
Okay.
The Braves are on
I'm
that one.
yeah looking for stuff here online, and
Um,
I just happened to see it. So
which one Soto trade? He's been traded twice.
so the one that we talked about last week, which was the one with the
Padres
Nationals,
and
where it was
Nationals.
James
Okay.
Wood and it
Okay.
was C.J. Abrams, Mackenzie.
Robert Hassel. Yeah.
Yeah, that huge trade, right? That trade looked really really good on paper in the beginning. And then kind of as we went through, it got kind of worse and worse and worse. And then we asked last week, even though Adley Rutschman, 247 at bats with a 251 average, only 8 home runs and an OPS of 764, not great, right? He's got a left wrist injury right now. He's right-handed, so he's got the left wrist injury. He catches every ball with the left hand. Okay, you start throwing really hard at him, will that re-injure that hand a lot? I mean, there's some question marks that I think a lot of people aren't really talking about with this trade. They just simply see it as, oh, Adley Rutschman is a great player. He's supposed to be a great player. What are you
Something you
laughing at?
did. It's just Kyle Tucker's defense in right field for the Dodgers.
Oh,
It's
okay. I was like,
disaster.
what? I thought I was gonna have
Kyle Tucker is a disaster for the Dodgers. That could go down as one of the worst contracts in baseball history. I'm sorry. He just sort of caught a ball easily, and he just completely whiffed. So Cubs got second and third one out.
all right. The prospects that the Orioles got back are really, really good prospects. Two good
Yeah.
pitchers and a nice hitter for them. And I think it's going to be
They give him
the
a
same
lot.
thing as the Juan Soto trade. I think 2 or 3 years from now, we're going to look back on this trade and we're going to go, man, the Red Sox just got beat up on this trade.
Maybe. But maybe. Oh, sorry. Go ahead. You had
No,
more?
go ahead. You're good. You're good.
Well, just like prospects, it's like even there's so many good prospects that like, oh God, he's going to be amazing, and they end up average or below average major leaguers. You never know. Like you never know. Right now, it looks bad on paper. I think so. And immediately, right before I came on yesterday, you could see the face. Was it Tom Verducci? I'm not sure. Her on MLB Network. Like that's what they gave up. Like, are you kidding me? Like, are you serious? But you never know. Like, at least when you make a trade, you gave up maybe more than you thought. At least you're getting a veteran. At least you're getting something proven. It's not like he's a bad player. He's not the player that we thought he was, but it's not like he's a bad player. So, Fred McGriff, I'll just say that. That's the perfect example. When the Padres, they got 4 prospects for him from the Braves. They were all complete duds. And at the time, they were supposed to be like 4 of the top like 10 prospects in the Braves organization.
Yes.
They all sucked. None of them, 2 of them, I don't even think made, the majors ever.
Mm-hmm.
So, prospects, yeah, it looks bad, but you never know. And
There's a reason why they're prospects, right?
yeah, most trades, you look back, big time trades where there's like 4 guys moved. There's one team that wins more than the other. So we'll see. But obviously, the Juan Soto trade looks one-sided between the Padres and Nationals.
And here's the thing, Cheese. Adley Rushman can't help them today because he's on the IL. He's on the injured list.
True.
So you've only got, 40, 50 games left in the season, and he's going to miss some of those games. So I don't know. I'm not sure. Now, I will say that he will be with them all of next year because he is under contract for the next season as well. So there was a trade that the Cubs did, and we said, "Oh, that Braxton Garrett, right?" And we said, "All that trade's for next year." Maybe the Red Sox are thinking more for next year with this one. I don't know. We're not in the front office.
And next year. I think they're thinking both. But if Adley Rushman hits a 3-run homer down 2 in the 9th for walk-off in the postseason, I think no one's going to care about the prospects.
At least not this year.
At least not at the time.
Yes. Okay, but I do believe this, Cheese, and I'm almost wishing and wanting this to happen. My buddy Seacott at work will be so thrilled with me saying this, but with the run that they were just on, the Red Sox, 21-4 in July. And again, they capped it off by going to Dodger Stadium and beating them. Now they lost to the Cubs yesterday, so they're 4 down.
And
they've lost, I believe, 6 of their last 8, and I want to say like 9 of their last 11 or something like that.
And they're losing right now.
So we'll talk more about the Dodgers in a moment, but I believe that this gives Major League Baseball the best narrative for the World Series this year. And honestly, I hope it happens for baseball's sake. I hope we get Red Sox, Dodgers. I don't want to see 417 versus 110. What I mean by that is I don't want to see $417 million payroll versus $110 million payroll like White Sox or Rays. And it gets to be the narrative of David and Goliath.
I do.
I don't think David has a chance in either one of those situations.
Exactly. That's why I want to see it.
I don't want to see that though, Cheese. I want to see something competitive.
I want to see. World Series is amazing. It was amazing last year's World Series, but
it was amazing because it was 2 competitive teams.
There needs to be change. We need change. I would love to see a payroll like the Dodgers play the White Sox and just dominate them, sweep them in 4, and there's a clear obvious in Dave and Goliath. I'd love that because we need change.
So you want it to happen just so and you think that's going to make the owners and the players go, "Oh wow, boy, this game is broken. We need to change it." I don't think it'd make any difference to them whatsoever.
No, it will give the media and the fans an opportunity to show that this
What are we going to do? Are you not going to buy MLB TV? Are you not going to go to the games? What are you going to do?
Well, I will, but
okay.
Still, it will draw more attention to the problems. That's what I mean. We'll have a team that won 3 in a row with the highest payroll 3 years in a row. Like it will draw, and then a team that just could not hang with them. It will draw way more attention to the problem.
Okay, well, I'm going to respectfully disagree with you here. I want to see 417 versus 267, which is what those 2 payrolls are right now. 417
the Dodgers or the Red Sox in there. Be honest with you.
Do what now?
I don't want to see the Dodgers or the Red Sox in there.
Okay. But I'm pretty sure we're going to get Dodgers in the end, so I want someone who can actually beat them with like half their payroll. I don't think 110 can beat them, but I think 267
Probably
might
not.
be able to.
No, I doubt 110 could beat them. I agree with you on that.
Okay, so I want underdog, competitive, and then I want that story with a chance. And I actually think that if the Red Sox would beat them, especially if they would beat them bad, like 5 games or in 4 games or something like that, then maybe we would get this narrative to start changing. It's like, oh, well, look, the team with half the money actually did beat them. And we'll look at the Dodgers a whole lot more here after the football segment.
Real quick, I'm glad you brought this up. Do you remember the NLCS last year? The Brewers and the Dodgers. I watched every single one of those games.
And the
Dodgers dominated all 4. The Brewers had a way lower payroll. So I think that's what you mean. You don't want to see a series like that. The Brewers couldn't do anything in that series.
Correct.
Nothing.
It was terrible. It was terrible television. It was a waste of my time. Did I want to see the Brewers win? Absolutely. But do I think they're going to? No. So
I hope they both lose.
Give me a team that I think actually has a chance to beat them. And obviously the Red Sox do. because they just took three from them in their own ballpark.
The
All right.
Cubs lost to the Brewers the round before.
Mhm.
They would not have beaten the Dodgers, but they would have given them, I think, a much better series. The matchup was
Yes.
horrible for the Brewers.
I agree with you. And I don't think the matchups changed a whole lot.
I don't either.
They had a chance to change it, but they didn't do it. And we'll talk about that more when we get to the Dodgers here in a few moments. Okay. Let's move on to this. 10-5 rights and the no trade clauses in Major League Baseball. So the no trade clause was used yesterday, and 10-5 rights have been used before. So I want to talk to you about these two things, and we'll figure out if we like them. And then that's going to lead you or me to do something that you asked me to do yesterday in regards to Kevin Gausman, and I did it. We'll talk about it here in just a few minutes. I did not include that part in the notes because I didn't want you to see which teams I chose until afterwards. So let's do this. 10-5 rights means a player must have 10 years of total Major League service and 5 consecutive years with the same team. And if they do, then they can veto any trade that is offered to them as part of the CBA. So my question to you, Cheese, is are you okay with giving, we'll call them veteran players, that kind of control?
Yes, I am. I'm not going to say more because I know your next question. But yes, I'm okay with that.
So 10-5 rights are something that's earned. A trade clause, if they do it, is something that is negotiated. So would you give any player a full trade clause if you're a GM of a team? And what status would that player have to reach in order to get that privilege?
I would never give a no trade clause to any player under any circumstance. Absolutely not. Because once you do that, you can get an Anthony Rendon situation where they just check out. They don't try. They do just whatever. Yes. I'm going to live here. I'm going to play for this team no matter what. So I would never, ever give a no trade clause.
What about a partial no trade clause?
I would think about that depending on the player. It'd have to be someone that I knew worked hard no matter what, that loved the city. They love like a Chipper Jones, Tony Gwynn, someone like that. But rarely. And even if it was partial, it would be 8 or fewer teams.
Okay. Well, you've set me up really well. So yesterday, Kevin Gausman got traded to your Chicago Cubs from the Blue Jays, but he had 8 teams that he couldn't go to. So in this exercise, Cheese, I'm going to be pitcher Kevin Gausman, 14 years in the bigs. He's played for 8 different teams. He has 8 teams in his trade clause that he can't be traded to. And the reason why he's done that is to do the 10-5 rights, Cheese, you have to have both. You have to have 10 years in the league and 5 with the same team. Well, obviously, he's been in the league for 14 years, 8 different teams, so that's probably not going to happen. I guess it could, but it's probably not.
No.
So, Cheese, I don't know, you say sometimes you look at these notes and sometimes you don't. Are you prepared, sir? Do you have the 8 teams that Kevin Gausman decided that he was not going to be traded to?
Do I have the teams that he picked? Yes. Someone friends me on my phone. I have it on my phone right here.
Okay,
do you want to go ahead? Okay. So those teams are okay. The reason why he's traded the Cubs, he was not on the list.
Yes, the Cubs were not on this 8-team list.
The Cubs were not on this list. Here are the 8 teams. And this is the most random list I've ever seen in my life. This makes no sense. Usually you can tell when you see teams, whether it's 4, 8, 10, 12, you can see a theme. Here are the teams: Reds, Brewers, Tigers, Mets, A's, White Sox, Pirates, Mariners.
Yeah, we talked about this a little bit yesterday during our trade deadline special. Before we jump into this too much, let's say hello to William. Hey, buddy. How you doing? We appreciate you jumping on, Will. So, yes, we talked about this a little bit, the trade deadline special yesterday. You brought it up. I don't know if it was just kind of a tongue-in-cheek kind of thing, but you were like, hey, if you were Kevin Gausman and you had 8 teams that you couldn't go to, which 8 teams would you pick? And you got my little wheels in this big old cranium of mine turning. And I was like, I don't know. Let me pick 8 teams. Now, let me tell you this, Cheese. I had the 8 teams. We're going to talk about them and why I chose those 8 teams. But the first thing I have to say is as I was going through and looking at them, it was hard to narrow the list down to 8 teams.
It was hard to only pick 8 teams?
Yes.
Or just pick 8 teams?
No, it was hard to only pick 8 teams.
You wanted to pick way more.
I really did. So it was a good exercise for me because I didn't realize it's like, okay, well, what are the pluses and minuses of going to this team, and what are the pluses and minuses of going to that team, and so as I started doing it, I was like, wow, I guess I kind of understand where these players were coming from, and a lot of them have families. Now, don't get me wrong, I love my wife to death. If we were making millions, she would go wherever I asked her to go. Right? We wouldn't have to worry about that. Sure. But I also don't have kids, or well, I do, but my daughter is grown because I'm old. So I wouldn't have to. I figured I better say it before you do. So I wouldn't have to necessarily worry about that. And what school district are we going to, and where's good daycare, and is the sitter going to follow me, and do we have a nanny, and are they going to follow us, and all of these kind of things. So the family aspect for me was taken out. But it was still a little difficult to do only 8 teams. So I used 2 criteria, Cheese. Mm-hmm. And here's my I'll tell you what, let me wait and not tell you what my criteria is. Let me rattle off the teams to you and see if maybe you can figure out what the criteria was. Okay. Because we couldn't figure out what Gossman's criteria was. Let's see if we can do it this way.
I have no idea.
Right? So here's my teams.
Okay.
The Brewers, the Tigers, the Dodgers, Giants, the Twins, the Guardians, the Angels, and the White Sox. Do you know what my 2 criteria were?
California?
California. I do not want to live in California. There you go. Good job. You got the first one. Hold on. Let me reward you for getting the first one here.
You picked the 3 California teams.
I did. I picked the 3 California
the A's,
teams.
But the A's are Sacramento, but they're moving to Las Vegas.
Good job. Good job.
Okay.
But then if you take those teams out, maybe if I mixed them up on purpose so you couldn't really think about it as I was rattling.
Guardians? I would not pick Guardians on my list. They would. That's not a team I wouldn't just like. I don't want to play for Cleveland. Okay.
So Minnesota, Cleveland, the Chicago White Sox.
You hate the AL Central?
And the Detroit Tigers. No.
You hate the Central divisions? You didn't pick interesting. You didn't pick the Yankees, Mets.
That's what I mean. It was hard to do.
I don't know.
18. So cold weather teams. I didn't want to go to cold weather cities.
Well, okay. You didn't pick Toronto.
I did not. I looked at those, and again, I could have picked Toronto. I technically could have picked New York. I thought about picking Washington and Philadelphia because they're kind of cold. But I was like, I want to go somewhere nice, right? I want to be in Arizona, or I want to be in Texas, or I want to be somewhere nice, right? So I'm going to knock off some of these cold weather teams off my list. So it depends on, I guess, where you're at in your life and what choices you're making and stuff like that as to what teams you might put on this no trade clause list.
I'm surprised. I'm the most surprised is a team you did and team you did. You did Cleveland. I'm not surprised you went Cleveland. I feel like it's colder in Boston, New York than Cleveland, but maybe I don't know. I've never lived either place. But you did pick Colorado. So why, if you're a pitcher, why would you not put the Rockies on?
That's a really good question because I had them on my original list, but the problem was my original list was like 14 or 15 teams long. So I had to go through it and, take them off.
My list would have 25 teams probably.
Right. And I mean, so you're saying to us, we said, and this is part of what this exercise is really good for. You said I would think about something with a partial trade, partial no trade, but they'd have to be, a certain type of player. And then you turn around and say, well, my partial no trade clause would be at least, 20 teams of the 32.
I would like that, but it doesn't mean I'm going to get it. Yeah.
Right. So there's negotiations back and forth, I guess. That's kind of the point here with this thing is there are negotiations back and forth. And if I want to sign a really good pitcher, like a Kevin Gossman, I would put him in, even though he is actually below 500 for his career. I would put Kevin Gausman as a pretty good pitcher, and I really think he's going to help Chicago. But sometimes you have to give in to these guys, right? Sometimes you have to give the players a little bit of power in order to finalize the deal.
Yeah. Okay, I'm gonna do it real quick. I didn't plan this. I'm gonna pick my 8 teams here.
Oh, okay, go ahead.
Dodgers, because I hate them.
Mm-hmm.
Mets, Phillies, Nationals for obvious reasons.
Yeah, all in the Braves division. Okay, got it.
Brewers, I hate them.
In the Cubs division.
White Sox. Yankees, Mets. How many is that?
I don't know, sir. I wasn't counting, to be honest.
Dodgers, Phillies, Mets, Nationals, Brewers, White Sox. That's 6. Cardinals. That's 7.
And the Cardinals is a rabid fan base, though. I would love to go to St. Louis, I think.
Yeah, but my second team's the Cubs. I like the Cubs and Braves. I can't.
And then you may as well just pick the Reds and just knock out the whole Central.
No, I wouldn't pick the Reds. Okay, what's again? Brewers, Cardinals, White Sox, Mets, Phillies, Nationals at 6, Dodgers at 7. I got one more. Oh, Yankees. There we go. So I didn't pick the Rockies either.
It's hard to come up with 8.
If I did 10, I would have the Rockies. But
what about the Mets?
Mets were on there. Mets were probably number 1 on the list. I'm not. And it was on Gossman's list too. Mets were. I don't want to play.
Yeah, so now you're like Gausman, right? You and Kevin are just.
I had 2 in common with Gausman too. Like, why are you picking the Mariners? That makes no sense. The Mariners
it really doesn't.
Pitcher friendly. They're a good team. They made the ALCS last year, and it's a pitcher friendly park. I don't have any. It just doesn't make any sense. Tigers, pitcher friendly park. Like, it's just weird.
Yeah. I don't know what to tell you there. I really don't, especially not the Mariners, because they seem to be a well-run organization. The only thing maybe is that he would be scared of being traded 3 or 4 times, because the Mariners, they don't care. They'll trade anybody at any point. So
true.
Maybe.
And one last thing I want to mention.
Sure.
The 10-5 rights
Mm-hmm.
and the negotiated no trade clause. This will never happen. The players won't agree to this, but I think this should be a rule. Dansby Swanson leadoff double. Yes. How about this? And I want to know your opinion on this.
Okay, go ahead.
Because you know a lot about baseball. How about you can have either 10-5 rights, or you can have a no trade clause in any contract, but not both. So if you have a no trade clause in a contract, you cannot also have 10-5 rights. You get one or the other.
Yeah, but if you have a no trade clause, you don't need 10-5 rights.
But you might switch. Okay, so you have a no trade clause, and then your next contract, maybe you don't have it. Or how about this? You've been in the league 10 years, but you played for 3 different teams, so you don't have. So you're trying to get that no trade clause because you cannot have 10-5 rights. It's impossible. Like Gausman can't. So he's got to try and negotiate no trade clause. So it's more important to them. Just throwing it out there. But that's a good point.
Well, I tell you what, let me give you this example. You may not remember this. I remember this because I love Evan Longoria, one of my favorite players of all time. He was with the Tampa Bay. Back then it was the Devil Rays forever. And they traded him 2 days before he would have gotten 10-5 rights to where he could have vetoed the trade. So there's that aspect of it too, right?
It made you hate the Rays at the time. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. But he ended up going back this year, right? Everything was, all the fences were mended. He went back, and they put his name up on the, like their Ring of Honor or whatever it is there for Tampa Bay. I don't think it's called that, but same concept. So yeah, all can be forgiven when it's all said and done. So interesting.
I think there needs to be a better system, I think is my point. There needs to be a better system than that.
I don't mind the 10-5 rights though, because if you're a veteran player, I guess.
But maybe you can't get a no trade clause until year 7 or 8 or something too. Like you can't. Like it doesn't kick in to a certain time. I just feel like, I don't know. Well, I mean, teams don't have to give the no trade clauses. They don't have to. So it's probably not going to change. But I know Theo Epstein never did it. And when he was running the Cubs, and now Jed Hoyer's giving him like handy, which is annoying. You know, like there's Alex Bregman's not going anywhere no matter what, because he got a no trade clause. And that could hurt them in the future.
It could. It could end up hurting them. And that's the thing, right? The owners are giving up some of their power by giving them no trade clauses.
Even 16 teams, you still have, well, actually 16 teams isn't even that effective because they're going to pick the teams most likely, a lot of players will, that will trade for them. Like, for example, you're not going to pick the Marlins. If you make a ton of money, they're not going to trade for you. So they're not going to be on the list. But yeah, it's an interesting topic. In our list, I think we had two of the same. That's it.
Yeah, and again, it's where you are in your life, right? I did not want to go to California. That was my number one thing, and I didn't want to live somewhere cold because I'm spoiled being here in Arizona for years now. I don't want to go somewhere where it snows. No. If I want snow, I'll just drive 3 hours to Flagstaff and look at it and go, yeah, that's pretty, and turn around and come back to my house.
Look, I get that. I live in Texas.
Yes. All right, bud. Let's jump to this last topic before we go to your football section here, and that's this. Pirates manager Don Kelly was ejected during a rain delay on Sunday. Yes, I'm not kidding. It had rained quite a bit on Saturday night. In fact, it rained enough in Cincinnati on Saturday night where the Pirates were at that they delayed the game for an hour and 46 minutes. Then on Sunday afternoon, they paused the game. They technically didn't say it was a delay because they didn't get the tarp out or anything else. They just put some of the clay and the dirt and stuff like that onto the field. But they paused the game for about 25 minutes while it was still raining the entire time to allow the grounds crew to come out and, what are we going to call it? Manicure the wet field, right? So the Reds had Monday off and the Pirates did not. So it's not like they could call the game and just play it the next day. And this was the last game of the year between the two teams. So I also wanted to throw those things out there before we talk about this. Don Kelly was adamant that it was dangerous for his players. So let's talk about getting the game in versus player safety, Cheese. I'll give you the floor. What do you think about those two topics against each other?
Well, I mean, you can't really play baseball when it rains. I know some teams we have to get this game in. They do. But, yeah, it is dangerous. You don't want to play when it's raining. So I completely understand it. If it's drizzling, I think it's different. But obviously – the worst thing could happen is because of the wet conditions, you get an injury.
Okay. So, but there's more to it, right? And I want to kind of bring up these topics here because there's more to it. Double headers. How are we going to do tickets? What about the fan inconvenience, right? So I took off Saturday to go to the game. Now you call the game and you're like, okay, fans, you can come in Sunday afternoon and we'll do a Sunday afternoon and a Sunday night game. Well, I don't want to take 2 days off of work, and I really wanted to see them play. So there's the whole fan part of it, and what are we going to do with the tickets, and how are we going to offer the next game? And it's not just a cut and dry thing, Cheese.
It's not. A lot of teams have protocols for this. Some are different than others. That's why a lot of teams that don't have a dome stadium will have the day off, the day after opening day in case it does rain.
That's right.
You can't give someone credit. Oh, you missed opening day. Here's a game. Here's June 25th. You know,
right.
You can have that game. It's like, no, it's not the same. There's protocols for this. I don't know if there's a perfect solution, though.
Yeah, there kind of sort of is protocols for it. So there is kind of a weather protocol, but it's all given. The power is all given to the umpires. I want to throw this out there, and I don't know how much it would really happen. But let's say especially now that we've got the ABS system, right? You can't tell me that some of these umpires are not harboring some feelings here right now, right? Every time I go to this stupid stadium, they call me out every time, and man, I hate coming here. And this team stinks, and they're always challenging me, and I don't like to be challenged. And okay, well now it's pouring down rain, and I now control the narrative, right? Well, by golly, you want to challenge me on ABS stuff all the time? We're just going to play through the rain. Yeah, you go ahead and get soaking wet there, son. Man, you look, and I can hear the umpire now, right? The guy walks up to bat, and he's like, man, you look a little wet. Do you think they harbor kind of some of those stuff? Because the weather inclination patterns things are actually given to the umpires. They decide when the tarp comes out. It's not the team. It's not Major League Baseball. It's the umpires.
You think a lot of these umpires, would want to just get the game done with so you hit the buffet. A lot of them are large.
Yes, that's true.
No, it gives them a lot of power. And there's communication now. They're talking to, if it starts to rain and then they're told, oh, there's a whole front coming through, well, get the tarp out, but if it's scattered, let's just keep playing. I think that's kind of what you should do if you're the umpire. I guess the crew chief's the one who ultimately decides. That's just a guess.
Mm-hmm. It is.
But manager, I don't think I've ever seen a manager getting tossed during the delay, but I understand. I understand what he was thinking.
Well, they were also getting beat like 7-1, so maybe he was trying to motivate his team. Managers
Possibly.
Do that.
Good point. Okay. So we have good news. The Cubs are up 4-1 on the Dodgers.
Okay.
Clutch singles by PCA and Seiya Suzuki. So yeah, the Dodgers are about to lose their 5th straight, probably.
Sounds good. So
we're about to talk more about the Dodgers.
We are. We very much are. Should there be a weather protocol, Chiefs? And then who should ultimately make that call, do you think? Do you like having the decision in the hands of the umpires? Do you think the home team should make the call? Do you think both teams should get together? Or do you think maybe it should be run by Major League Baseball?
The home team should not decide because they could just do something that's advantageous for them.
Sure.
Like you said, if they have a game, they have to
winning.
travel.
We're calling the game.
Well, just like if they have to travel like across the country. Say you're an East Coast team, you play the Giants the next day. Well, you want to go ahead and play. But if you have the day off, who cares? Like, let's just wait it out. So, yeah, not the home team. MLB, oh, man, I don't like when MLB gets too involved either. I don't think there is a great solution. I don't. But whoever makes the decision has to look at the radar. You have to look at the weather and make a decision that way. But at the same time, like, baseball's not fun to watch in rain. It shouldn't be played in rain. So, what do you think? You've asked me some questions to this. I want to know what you think. What is the solution? Do you have a solution in mind?
I think both teams should have the authority in it. I don't think the umpires. I mean, there's no consequence or anything like that for the umpire. Why? Why are we giving it to the umpire? They have nothing to do with this. Both teams are who's doing this. So I think it should be one of those things to where if both teams could get together and make the decision, then that should be the first thing. It's kind of like the wild card, right? So if the teams tie for the wild card, and in this case the teams one says I want to play and one says no, I want to call the game, then it would go to Major League Baseball, and then they would decide. Or maybe then it goes to the umpires and they would decide. But
what if the teams don't agree, though? What if one team wants to play?
Right, that's what I mean. So if the teams don't agree, then it goes to the umpires, or then it goes to Major League Baseball. But I would give the two teams the ability to reason with one another and, make friends.
Let's just get along, man.
Right? Let's just get along.
Get along. Just chill.
We, ladies and gentlemen, have a new social media out there that I just started this past week. I just looked at it a few seconds ago. We've got 50 followers already. I'm a little impressed with that, especially for the old man trying to do TikTok over here. So we have done. We've got it. It's up and running. I've brought in a social media manager, and All Gloves Off Sports Media has really taken off. We've now got 10 podcasts, including Cheese's podcast that he has yet to shamelessly plug, which, I mean, it's like almost an hour in. There we go. Football with Cheese on YouTube and Football Cheese on X. Please go to his spot, like, subscribe, hit the bell, and as he just showed you, give him the thumbs up because, as he says every episode, it really helps out the channel.
Yes, watch time. Watch to the end, too. Because I
Wow.
noticed that some people, like, I have 7 videos. They watch 4.5 minutes on average. It's like, watch the whole thing. What are you doing?
Well, not all of us like you to squawk about how terrible the Packers are.
I've gotten some interesting feedback on my last Packer video.
I'm sure you have. I watched it today, actually.
I was so
I'm sure you
mad.
have.
I don't know if you could tell. I was so mad.
Yes, you could. I could tell because I know you well enough. Like you were holding back. You were like, okay, I don't want to be. I don't want to be extreme. You know, I could almost see you. You know, underneath the table, just smacking your hand, and you're going.
I cut a lot of stuff out. That was like even. I cut some stuff out of that. It was actually even more, probably belligerent. But I that one took a while to record because I had to calm down and then to go back to redo that spot. But yeah, just make sure you go to my channel and so you can watch it.
Okay, sounds good. Hey, buddy, speaking of getting along, we're going to do the watch along tomorrow, right? And we're going to
Not
do
tomorrow,
that
Thursday night.
Oh, Thursday
8
night,
Eastern,
yes.
5 Pacific. We're doing the watch along for the Hall of Fame game between the Panthers and the Cardinals.
Correct.
So about 10 minutes before the game, probably about 7:50 Eastern, we will go live, and we're going to talk about other topics, not just the Hall of Fame game. We'll talk about Carson Beck, who will start for the Cardinals. He's a very interesting situation with the Cardinals quarterbacks, but we're going to talk about other NFL topics, so you don't have to listen to the broadcasters talk about people that are going to get cut by the team, because that's who like a lot of people play. We'll talk about other topics.
Right. So let's do a couple things here real fast. I know can you and I get along and say that we'll talk about most of the football topics on Thursday for the watch along instead of doing it tonight?
Yeah, so we're going to talk. It's just big baseball time of year right now. We're going to talk about the Atlanta Falcons extensions. We're going to talk about what's going on in Tampa Bay with Vita Vea and Baker Mayfield, because that's both organizations. Really, Tampa Bay, I'm not sure what they're doing. So we're going to talk about that as well this Thursday on the watch along. Yes,
and these are the two quarterback matchups. I'm sure you're excited, sir. Kenny Pickett versus Carson Beck.
I am. I'm excited. I want to see what Carson Beck can do. I know it's preseason, but I'm very curious about him. So he could create, if he plays really well, then the Cardinals might, like, if he has this amazing preseason, the Cardinals may have a decision to make, and we will talk about that on Thursday night.
Sounds good. They may have a decision to make. Well, I would have never thought that would be something we would be talking about. Game one, like literally game one. And we're going to do some other watch-alongs with the NFL as well. We're going to probably try to do some of the international games. I don't want to commit us to all because I did that a couple weeks ago, and Cheese was really quick to be like, whoa.
There's like 8 or 9 of them. Whoa, hold on.
Oh, man. All right. So, yes, let's go ahead and then if that's the way we're going to do it, I like this. We'll keep on going with some baseball stuff. I mean, you're not going to get me to not go baseball, so we can go baseball all day long.
This is the baseball time of year. Trade deadline. There's so much going on, and the Dodgers are losing in, so it's good.
Yes. All right. As we said, we'll continue with baseball. Then let's jump into this topic. Should you bunt when there is a no-hitter in progress? Let me set this up real quick, Cheese, and then I'll give you the floor because I think you got a lot to say about this one. And then I've got 5 questions actually for you that will give us deeper and deeper into this topic. So Tim Tawa, 6th inning of Sunday's perfect game with Gavin Williams. The Diamondbacks were down 5-0, and he was up there in the 6th inning.
To the Guardians, correct?
What did I say?
No, you said the Diamondbacks were down, but you didn't say the other team. They were playing.
Okay. So yes, the Diamondbacks were down 5-0 to the Guardians.
Okay.
Williams was on the mound, And not only did he have a no-hitter going, but he had a perfect game going. And Tim Tawa decides to bunt. Now, he bunted it foul, and then later on in the at-bat, he actually got a hit to break up that perfect game. But what do you think about the timing and everything else? So, again, they were down 5-0. It's not like they were only down like 1 or 2-0. They were down 5-0 in the 6th inning, and there was a perfect game going on. And Tim Tawa decides to bunt. Cheese, I'll turn it over to you.
Good for Tim Tawa. No one likes to be no-hit. No one likes a perfect game against him. If you see the third baseman playing back bunt, absolutely. The stupid narrative. Oh, how dare you try to do that? He's trying to get this. How dare you? No, you. First of all, you're trying to win the game, but you're also like, it's embarrassing to get no-hit and get a perfect game. I think the Diamondbacks absolutely should bunt. You should bunt every time if he's going to play back and try to break that up. It's so ridiculous that how dare you do that to us? Like, no, like, sure, you want to throw no hitter a perfect game, but there's two sides to it. There's a team that gets embarrassed like that. If I'm like a little league coach, if I'm coaching 7 or 8-year-olds, I'm telling them to bunt. And we are not getting no hit or perfect game. I think it's absolutely ridiculous how the reaction and how pissed it's just, get over yourself. Like, the job of the Diamondbacks is to get a hit and get on base. And yeah, it was 5-0, but we'll talk about the score in a second. But what do you think? Do you agree with me? I think it's just ridiculous.
I honestly thought, by the way you said stuff yesterday, that you were going to take the opposite view. I really did. I thought you were going to cheer for the pitcher here. So you've thrown me off a little bit, to be really honest with you here. But I certainly agree with you. The goal is to win. Right? That's the entire goal of two people fighting on a field, whether it's, baseball, football, lacrosse, whatever it is, right? The goal is to win. And if that's what you have to do to win, then I'm all for it. I don't really care about the circumstances behind it. And you can see Bo Naylor clearly put his hands up and be like, what was that? And, you can clearly see that.
Get over yourself, though.
Right. Their catcher jumps up from behind the plate.
He's on the Brewers now. But yeah, he has every right to do whatever he wants with his at-bat. He is up at bat.
I'm with you 110%. In fact, we'll jump into this a little bit more. So let's keep going here. I'm trying to do two things at once. I was trying to find the scan code for our new TikTok account. I'll have that for you guys next week. I swear I will. So you can just go to the screen and hit your little phone and get right to our spot. So, Cheese, should there be some kind of limit to it, though? Should it be once it gets past the blank inning, then you shouldn't bunt anymore? Like if there's a perfect game and it gets to the 8th,
no
limitations.
No, if there's 2 outs in the 9th perfect game and that third baseman's basically playing in left field, I'm dropping down a bunt, or I'm telling my player to. We're not getting a perfect game against us. No, then your third baseman should look out for that. You should play your defense accordingly. You should look for that, knowing that they don't want that to happen. But like you said, you're not gonna, when you're down 5-0, you're not gonna win if you don't get a hit. So you got to start somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
But why not lay down a bunt and get to first? Why not try that? You get something going, get a base runner. Who knows what can happen?
Yeah, I'm waiting for someone else to chime in on this. Let me go. I'm not looking at the screen. Oh, maybe somebody has. Hang on. Oh, okay. This is some crazy person.
We get a lot of those.
We do, actually, but I guess it's nice to be as popular as we are to get trolls. So I remember in the beginning when we were doing this just for fun, and we weren't looking at numbers and stuff. Like, both of us, one of the first things we said to each other coming on the show pregame today was, "Man, we should do stuff in the afternoon. Like, did you see those numbers?" So
crazy.
I have, and you know what, ladies and gentlemen, this is a hobby for both of us. But it's also something that we would both love to do full time eventually. We just know that it's not feasible right the moment. So we've talked to some other podcasts to come aboard with us and we've got some rules and regulations that we want you to follow. We want you to actually put content out there and stuff like that. And sometimes some of these guys and gals will be like, well, this is just a hobby for me, so I'm not really going to commit to that. And to be honest with you, then you're not for us. This is something that we want to do. We want to be very purposeful for you guys. We want you to be able to come here every Tuesday night and know that the Lights Out Sports Podcast is going to be here. It might have a different host or it might have a different co-host as one of us kind of takes some time off, but this show will be here every Tuesday night. So Anubis asks again, would MLB be better for fans if it had a cat? Oh, no, this is William asking.
Yeah, he's asking Anubis if they're still on there. Yeah.
Yeah, so that's our good buddy from over at AnubisSports.com. Please go over and see them. They're the official website of the Lights Out Sports Podcast. Something good must have happened.
Nico Horner gone. Nico Horner doesn't hit a lot of home runs, but he just did. Dodgers are just free. They're in free for all. It's just nothing is going well. They're not pitching and they're not hitting. It's just not going well. And the Cubs are beating Terry. Well, it's not over yet. It's 8. They have 3 outs to go, but they've beaten Tarek Skubal with their number 5 starter potentially. So Tarek Skubal, not the best start for him for the Dodgers. But
can't wait to get to that here in a few minutes.
So William, we're gonna do a special when we about the CBA and salary cap and all that. At some point, we're going to do a whole special, like a 90-minute special about all of those. So we'll talk more about that then. But we both think there needs to be change. But we're going to talk more about the Dodgers in a second here.
Yes, we will. And then the Orioles trading the next Johnny Bench. I take it they're referring to Adley Rutschman. He is not anywhere near Johnny Bench. Okay.
He's not. Look. I'll say this though, like the question makes sense because when he was a prospect, they were talking about him as the next Johnny Bench.
Yes,
that's how
really
they were. Because he was such a big prospect, but he has fallen off. I think injuries have been the biggest issue with him. I think he's just not been the same because of injuries. That's been the problem. But no, I mean, he's not even close. He's not even a top 5 catcher in the league. He's borderline top 10 catcher in the league. Probably not.
If you remember, Cheese, and I'm sure Orioles fans will remember, maybe John will put another comment up here for us. They were, if you remember, they got Holiday, they got Rutschman, they got Colby Mayo. You remember the pitcher Rodriguez? It was supposed to be the next big thing, right? And they're like, okay,
Sam Basello,
yep,
Colby Mayo,
yeah, all these prospects. And they were like, oh, we've been hoarding prospects. We've not traded these prospects away. And because of it, you're going to see a great new Orioles team. And they're going to be great for 5, 6, 7, 8 years. And it's going to be fantastic here in Baltimore. And it has not.
One good year. They took those prospects and they had one good year. They were terrible for and they're terrible since.
I would say one good year gets you to at least the World Series with the way they were talking about those prospects. And they made the playoffs, I believe the first 2 years. And then they have just completely fallen off a cliff. In fact, the last 2 years when they had all of those prospects up, I was reading this the other day. I don't have the stat in front of me, but they're like 15, I believe, 15 or 12 games under 500 while they have tried to build this team around all of those prospects. So obviously it's not working. And because it's not working, they decided to trade one of them and see if they can get some other chips. And to be honest with you, I think they did. I kind of think they fleeced the Red Sox, but we'll see what happens when it's all said.
I would have done that trade as well. But yeah, Grayson Rodriguez is another one that just, you know, at one point they had like 5 top 25 prospects, which is insane. And like you said, you thought that this was the next, they were going to have this great stretch and it just didn't happen.
All right. So let's go back to the no-hitter for a second. I got a couple more points I want to make on this and then we'll jump into the Dodgers. So we said, doesn't matter what inning, right? Cheese, doesn't matter.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Sorry. I thought you were going to keep going. I didn't know you were asking me. Yes. It does not matter what inning.
Right.
But even so, it was the 6th inning, right? When this happened.
It was the 6th inning.
So that even if you think innings matter, then that's not as bad as the 9th. It's not. If you believe innings matter, but I don't think it does.
And we said the score doesn't matter, right?
Nope. I mean, if you're down 15-0, might look a little worse, but 5-0, you still have a shot. If you can get some people on base, hit a 3-run homer, it's 5-3. So yeah.
Okay. Does it matter if it's a perfect game or a no-hitter?
That is such a good question.
Hmm.
There's a difference.
There is.
It's much harder to get a perfect game than no hitter.
And the game that we're talking about Sunday, sixth inning, it was a perfect game. It wasn't a no-hitter. It was perfect.
But it
In
was
other
the
words,
sixth inning.
the pitcher had not walked anyone, so they had the same amount of people that came to the plate were the same amount of outs that he recorded.
But it was the sixth inning. A perfect game in the 2 outs in the eighth is different than in the sixth.
Yeah, but the
It's
sixth
different.
inning, how many people have pitched a perfect game into the sixth inning though?
A lot more than have pitched into the ninth.
Okay, but it's still not a very high percentage.
Still, but no, I them complaining about the sixth inning is you can justify ninth inning more than the sixth. I'll say that.
Yes, okay, I give you that. And then we'll actually talk about Williams more here in just a little bit. Believe it or not, we have a really good stat on him. I'll give it to you later when we get to the batting cleanup, brought to you by FordFan.com. So you're trying to win a game. That's what my big thing is, right? I can hear Pete Rose in the back of my head. I'm not bragging about what I've done in the past, but I got to go to Cooperstown. I got to sit with Pete Rose for a moment and asked him what was the most. I asked him 3 questions, and this was one of them. What's the most important thing when you get on the field? And he said, didn't even blink, looks at me and says, winning the game. Yes, I agree. He has a famous quote. I would wear a gasoline suit through hell or something like that to win a game or to play baseball, or I can't remember the exact quote, but I mean, that man would do anything to win a game. And I think that's lost in our game today, Cheese. What do you think about that? Are some of the players just too passive?
I think there's a little of that, but I think it's just like a perfect game or even a no hitter. Perfect game is even bigger, but like that's great and all, but you haven't won a World Series at all. You haven't done any of that. And I think what Pete Rose's point was we're trying to we're trying to win a World Series. You're thinking about one game. When you get pissed about that, you're thinking about one individual game. So it's like this has happened, especially in the minors. There are minor league pitchers that will throw 6 or 7 perfect innings and they hit their pitch count and they take them out. And then fans get pissed. How dare you do that? Well, they're thinking of the future. They don't want to blow his elbow out. They're thinking of his future, and they should take him out if there's some kind of inning limit, especially if they've been hurt a lot, So I'm so jealous you got to hang out with Pete Rose.
His quote, by the way, I had to look it up to make sure I had it right. His quote is, "I'd walk through hell in a gasoline suit to play baseball." That's the exact quote from Pete Rose. Yeah, when I've never forgot that moment. He looks at me and, like I said, didn't blink. It didn't take him but 2 seconds to turn his head, and he had to kind of move one of his ladies back out of the way because he was surrounded by beautiful women, and they had pagers at that point. And give me 10 on the Blue Jays, and they were making bets for him, and it was crazy. But he did. He looked at me and said, "Win the game." Last, I want to make this point, Cheese. We know lots of hitters, right? This is a pitcher taking exception to a hitter. A hitter can also take exception to the team, right? Let's say that there's a batter that needs a triple for the cycle. I mean, he's not going to go up to the plate and be like, "All right, timeout, timeout, timeout. Hey, gentlemen, if I hit one in the gap, I'm going to go to third base, and I expect you to throw it into the pitcher and not try to get me out." And no team's going to do that, right?
No.
So isn't that the same? Just from the pitcher standpoint to the hitter standpoint?
There's been 353 cycles. There's been 24 perfect games. If you miss a cycle by a triple, you have another shot to do it.
It's very true.
So it's not the same. You cannot compare 24 to 353. And you shouldn't even ask for it. If somebody asked for it and I found out, I'd be like, that's pathetic. Like, just get your triple on your own. PCA had a cycle this year. He actually had the reverse cycle, like homer, triple, double, single, which I think has been like 19 times ever. So the reverse cycle. But no, I think you shouldn't be helping a team out. You should be trying to win and help your team as much as possible, whether it's 1-0 or 10-0. I just think we shouldn't just concede. Oh, don't bunt, don't do this because we want our guy to get this stat. Come on, it's And I'll say this: if Chris Sale has thrown 8 2/3, he has a perfect game, and he's playing the Nationals, who I can't stand, and they lay down a bunt for a base hit. It's a perfect bunt. I'm not going to be happy, but he laid down a perfect bunt. Good for him. I'm not going to be happy at all. Don't get me wrong. I will not. But at the same time, I don't think it's like unethical. I think he's trying to get a hit because it's his job to break up the perfect game. Like that is literally his job as the hitter. His job is not to stand there and just strike out looking, otherwise it's not a competition.
Yeah, I'm really big on this whole you shouldn't celebrate unless you win. Moral victories, there are none of those in sports, in my opinion. Right? I coached Little League for a long time when my daughter was going through school, and there were parents who hated my guts because I didn't let them celebrate.
I can see that.
Yes, couldn't you though? I wouldn't let the team celebrate. I wouldn't let them have anything unless they won. And they would get all mad at me. They'd be like, "Oh, well, it's fun. It's their kids." And we're teaching them. I think we're teaching them the wrong way from the beginning, right?
Why are we keeping score?
Calm down your second. There's no participation trophies. There's none of that bullcrap. You win, and when you win, then you get rewarded. You shouldn't be rewarded unless you win. Go ahead, Cheese.
I was just gonna say, why are we even keeping score? It should be fun to fun. That should be the score. Everyone should just be able to run around the bases backwards too. Yeah, you should run to third base first. And if they do that, that's okay. Let them get a home run anyway. Let's just let them all have fun.
Right?
Pathetic.
No.
I would have been with you. I would have been on your side. If I was your assistant coach, I would have been your side and been like, shut up, Mike and Jenny, or not Mike. Okay, Matt and Jenny. You're Mike. Matt and Jenny, shut up. Go tell little Timmy to shut up and stop crying.
Right? Everybody needs to play. We're all trying. No, they suck. They're not playing. They can play over there on the bench in the gravel. That's where they belong.
He runs to third instead of first. He's not playing.
Oh, man. Okay. I don't know where we got off on the rails on this. Maybe it's really good that we didn't do the football stuff tonight. This would be another 2.5-hour show. We were trying to keep it under 90 minutes, which is probably not going to happen.
We've agreed on so many things. That's weird.
I know. Yeah. That's why I like you so much, buddy.
Oh, thank you. We disagree sometimes too.
We do, and that's okay too. That's fine. So let's do this. Let's do something new. The lights out stat of the show. We do actually have a sponsor, but I don't have the scan thing ready and all that stuff yet. I will get that put together. It's 5cord.com. I'll throw that out there. They've been really gracious with us, as well as some of our other partners. You got Frostbuddy. You got forwardfan.com. You've got let me see, get the other one, to the snacking dough company that has agreed to sponsor us, Deutsch Snacking Dough Company. Man, we can't wait to get all these things put together, and sponsors of the show. Here is the lights out stat of the show as we lead in to our Dodgers conversation. From the X account of BetMGM is this: the Dodgers rotation of Ohtani, Skubal, Yamamoto, Snell, and Glasnow. This season, $141 million that they're spending on those players. Ohtani, Skubal, Yamamoto, Snell, Glasnow. That is more than the payroll of the Miami Marlins, the Washington Nationals, and the St. Louis Cardinals combined. Cheese, your thoughts?
I think there's two thoughts. How are the Dodgers able to spend this much? There needs to be change. Also, why are those teams spending so little? I think it's a combination of both. It's not just the Dodgers. I think people look at that, the Dodgers shouldn't be able to spend that much, but maybe there's other teams should spend a little more too. I'm
glad you said that. Once we get to our special, I've got it all mapped out. We'll probably do it like right after the playoffs, because that's when everybody's really going to start talking about, there'll be a next year. Will there be a next year? We'll do this special to where we will talk about the collective bargaining agreement. And I just don't want to talk about it. I want to be able to solve it. So I have a solution that I like and I think we'll get together with. It'll be myself, it'll be Cheese, and then we've got a person from Anubis Sports that wrote an article not too long ago on it. I'm not saying I agree with it, but I see where it could maybe come into play. So we will talk to her about that as well. So we will have a special guest on once we do that. But Cheese, I'm glad you brought it up. It's not just the Dodgers that are bad for baseball right at the moment. It's some of these bottom feeding teams that are also bad for baseball, right?
I mean, I think one of the big things that will be explored in the CBA is some of these teams that are spending 70, 80, 90 million when they're making 325 million in revenue every year. It's like, okay, you're not making close to what the Dodgers are, but you're still making a pretty good profit. Mm-hmm. And you're not really trying to necessarily win. You're relying on your development and farm system to win. And you can't just rely on that.
I 100% agree with you. We'll talk more about that during our special, but we'd like to, it's a tease, ladies and gentlemen. That's what it is. So subscribe to the channel, All Gloves Off Sports Media on YouTube, or you can go to All Gloves Off SM on X and catch us either way. You can also catch us on Cheese's channel. His YouTube is at Football with Cheese, and then his X is just simply Football Cheese.
There
All right, buddy.
Got the mug.
Yes, got the mug. Got the mug. Now, don't let the mug
mug
cover
again
the real
this
mug.
Thursday night. This Thursday night for the watch along. Panthers, Cardinals, 8 Eastern, 5 Pacific. Will go on a little early for the watch along for the Hall of Fame game, and we'll talk a lot of NFL topics.
We'll have a bunch. And if you guys have any suggestions for us, please direct message us over on X, either one of us, and we will put those things into the notes, and you can be part of the show. Cheese, let's go down the Dodgers path here. This is going to take a minute, but okay. I want to do this.
I'm very curious about this. You teased this yesterday, so I'm very curious what you have to say about this.
Yes, and I didn't put it in here, so I didn't want you to know, so it'll be fun. I'm going to play Dodgers devil's advocate here in a moment, but I want to ask some lead-in questions first, right? So the Dodgers have now lost 5 in a row. Have they lost 6 in a row yet?
There's 2 outs in the ninth. They're down 5-1. They have no one on base. So
we're going to go ahead and say they've lost 6 in a row.
They're 1 strike away, yes.
Okay. So, Cheese, are the Dodgers getting too cocky? They've lost 6 in a row. The lead in the West is now going to be down to at least 8.5 games because they've lost again. And they just kind of act as though they can flip a switch in the playoffs. Are they too cocky, or do you think they're hypocritical, or both?
Both. I mean, they're definitely cocky. They definitely think, oh, we're the Dodgers. They just lost, by the way. They are cocky. They think that – I still remember last year they – skip starts as pitchers. Some of them were injured, and they slowly brought them back because we don't want to have the innings because we're the Dodgers. We're going to be there anyway. So, like, they feel like they're protected. So they are definitely cocky.
All right. I certainly agree with you, but I also think that you have to be at least a certain level of cocky in sports. Because if you walk up to the plate and you're like, well, I guess if I get the pitch that I really want, then I can get the hit off of it. No, you have to come up there to the plate, right, and say, I am better than this pitcher, and I know I can get a hit. So you have to have confidence at least, but there's that borderline between confidence and cocky that I think the Dodgers have crossed.
Yeah, I agree.
All right. Who would you throw, Cheese, in a 5-game playoff series if you're the Dodgers? Give me the first 3. You've got Ohtani, Skubal, Yamamoto, Snell, Glasnow. Who's number 1 for you? Who are you pitching day 1?
I mean, if Ohtani's healthy, you have to throw him out there. Do you agree? If he's healthy?
No,
you don't agree.
No, I would do Skubal number 1 because he was your guy. He was the one you went out and got. Even though he did
as a Dodger
today,
0-1.
But he was the guy, right? So
if Ohtani was not healthy, if he was like either in the bullpen or he's just hitting, I would pick Skubal.
Well, I wouldn't pitch Ohtani. How would I say this? I would save Ohtani for the bullpen, to be honest with you. And I've said this since day one. I think Ohtani needs to be the closer.
Oh, wow. Maybe
you're going to throw, he's going to hurt himself. You're going to throw his arm out. We'll talk about another pitcher in just a little bit who everybody loves, and everybody's like, oh, he just throws and throws and throws. Wait till I give you a stat on this guy. We'll talk about him here in a few moments. So, no, I'm not doing Ohtani. Honestly, I'm probably not doing Ohtani at all, especially not when you've got this lineup.
Okay.
So I'm going to go Skubal first. I'm going to give it to the guy who won the award last year, right? Cy Young, Blake Snell. I know he's not healthy right at the moment, but I'm sure he will be by the time the playoffs come around. And I think that's another reason to just give him the ball. And there's a reason for that. Because if you need to come back in Game 5, you probably won't use the Game 1 pitcher. You'll use the Game 2 pitcher. So Snell, if I need him to pitch in 5, that would be where he would do his bullpen session and stuff. So there's a method to my madness there a little bit. So personally, I'd go Skubal, Snell, Yamamoto. Who would you go 1, 2, 3? You said Ohtani, and then who would fall?
Ohtani, Skubal, Yamamoto. 4, I would go Blake Snell.
Okay. So it's funny how we look at it a little bit differently. It'll be interesting to see how the Dodgers and Dave Roberts and his staff look at it in a 5-game series. Who will they throw out there for the first 3 games? Cheese, I wish, and I'm going to have to do it differently. I couldn't get it to do it, and I apologize to you and all of our fans. I think I sent it to you, direct message on our X account, but I couldn't get it to come up to where I could pull it up right now. But in millions of dollars, right? So the real deficiency, Cheese, is deferred money. And according to the FanDuel X account, the Dodgers will be paying. You're sitting down, right? Fans, I'm going to tell you right now, sit down for a minute.
I am sitting down.
If you're at work and you've got one of those stand-up desks, pull that thing down and sit in the chair because wait for these stats. Deferred money. That means money that they're paying later on, right? Bobby Bonilla Day type money, right?
The Mets are still paying him. When I was a little kid, he was playing for the Mets, so that tells you.
Right.
Yeah.
That's been quite a while ago.
Thank you.
Yes, you're very welcome. I had to stab in there a little bit. So the Dodgers will be paying Tanner Scott, reliever Tanner Scott, and Teoscar Hernandez until 2039. They'll be paying Freddie Freeman.
A good setup guy. He's a good setup guy. Yeah.
He's good, but
he's good.
Okay.
But he's a setup guy.
He's a setup guy. They'll be paying Freddie Freeman until 2040. The Dodgers will be paying Shohei Ohtani and Will Smith until 2043. We're not done yet. They'll be paying
That's to avoid taxing now. That's avoid taxing now, but it'll hurt them in the future.
Yes. They will be paying Tommy Edmond and Mookie Betts until 2044. The next guy, Kyle Tucker, only has a 4-year contract with them, and they'll still be paying him till 2045.
That contract is so bad.
Yes. Kyle Tucker.
Let me know when you're done with these names, because
I'm not done with them yet. I still got 2
more.
I know
you're not.
They'll be paying Blake Snell until 2046.
Jeez.
And ladies and gentlemen, they'll be paying Edwin Diaz, the closer that they got from the Mets that's pitched maybe a handful of games for them so far because of his injuries. They'll be paying Edwin Diaz until 2047.
So Edwin Diaz, when I'm in my 60s, he'll still be getting paid.
Yes. That's insane. And
I just hope that those deferred money, we'll see what happens. We'll talk about this when we do talk about the CBA. I hope it gets put on their salary cap. It better, because they're deferring money now to pay a smaller bill. All that money they're paying them needs to be part of the future salary cap. Otherwise, they got highway robbery.
I agree, but they don't care about the salary cap right now. We'll tell you why in a few moments. So there's something that I bet 90% of the people, and I'm not insulting you guys, I'm really not, But I bet there's something that I'm going to bring up here that 90% of you don't know, and it's the reason why the Dodgers can do what they do, and it's totally unfair. And we'll talk about it here in just a couple moments. Money in millions, that's deferred. According to Codified Baseball, fantastic account, by the way. If you don't follow them on X, you should. It's just simply Codified Baseball spelled out. So at CODIFY and the word baseball spelled out, no spaces, nothing like that, right? So there are several teams that pay nothing. And then you've got the Colorado Rockies. They have $427,000 in deferred money. The Houston Astros and the Chicago White Sox have $13 million. Kansas City has 14. Detroit has 31. Philadelphia has 32. The Angels 38. Milwaukee 41. I wish I could have put this up on the screen for everybody. Baltimore has 46. St. Louis has 56. The San Francisco Giants have $67 million in deferred contracts that'll be paid later on for what they're doing right now. Let's see. Cleveland has 70. Most of it's in the Manny Ramirez contract. Boston has 83. The Diamondbacks, I was a little surprised here. They have $88 million in deferred monies. Your Chicago White Sox.
Probably Corbin Burns, right?
Most of it is Corbin Burns.
Yeah.
The Chicago White Sox have $90 million. The Washington Nationals have $118 million in deferred money.
That's got to be a Strasburg.
I would say so. I didn't look all this stuff up. Toronto has $126 million. The New York Mets have $181 million. I want to make two observations here. Did you notice another New York team that's not in this list? By the way,
Yankees.
Yes, the Yankees don't believe in deferred money, or they must not. They are not on this list.
And then they will be okay if deferred money counts as salary cap in the future. They will be much better.
They will be fine. The New York Mets are number 2. They have $181 million. And again, guys, sit down because we're going to give you number 1. This is the big discrepancy. There's actually 2. I'll give you the other one in a moment, but this is the first big one. The Dodgers have 1.112. Everybody else so far has been in millions.
Oh my God.
But that Dodger money is in billions. They have $1.112 billion of deferred money that they owe to the players on their roster today. Cheese?
I'll just say this. I think with the new CBA, they should say you can't defer money. You can't.
The Yankees are doing it without having deferred money.
Yeah.
Not a big Yankees fan, but I'll give it to them.
Even
They're
if you
doing
can,
it.
like I said, the main thing is if you can, it needs to hit future salary caps. And I'm worried that the Dodgers will fight this and no, it shouldn't count because we did it before there was a salary cap, assuming there is one, whatever the new CBA. They should be penalized for this because that's insane. That's insane. $1 billion.
It's not like it's a small difference. It's a monumental difference.
But they're saving money doing it in the short term, so they should be punished in the long term. It lowers their tax bill. If they defer money, it doesn't count toward this year's tax.
Correct.
And that's what they're doing. They're taking advantage of the system.
Yes.
They need to be punished in the future for it. And I'm worried no matter what's going to happen with the new CBA, I'm worried they're not going to be punished, and they have to be.
And we've said all along, Cheese, you and I, neither one of us liked how this system is right now, but we've also both admitted the Dodgers aren't doing anything wrong. They're just taking advantage of the current system.
There's nothing the Dodgers are doing that's illegal. But it's what the Dodgers are doing has created. I mean, if the players are mad about what the owners are proposing, blame the Dodgers for what they're doing. The Dodgers are creating a lot of problems in baseball. Competitive balance problems. So if you are mad, if you're a player, well, you can get mad at. You need to get mad at the Dodgers. Yeah, you get mad at 4 or 5 teams that should spend more. Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
But what the Dodgers are doing, it's pissing a lot of people off, pissing fans off, and the revenue a team like the A's or the Rays make compared to the Dodgers, it's insane. and they can just throw money at any problem they have. So while they pay a lot of players and give players a lot of money, they're creating a lot of the problems as well.
Yes. I'm upset at the Dodgers up here at the top, but I'm also upset at these bottom feeder teams at the bottom because I want a competitive product. I want to be able, no matter what fan base I belong to have at least some hope that my team can make it to the playoffs in the very beginning of the season. I don't want to go to spring training and be like, I don't know why I'm here because this team ain't even going to make it. Right? That's just deflating. And that's not good for baseball. So
you don't want to go to spring training with like half the roster. You don't know who they are. There's some minor leaguers.
Correct.
They don't want to pay anybody because they're cheap.
The system is not just broke at the top, ladies and gentlemen. The system's also broke at the bottom.
And when
We've got to find a happy medium somewhere.
And when I saw that stat, I can't remember if it was the A's or the Marlins, one of them maybe. I can't remember who it was. But one of these teams that refuses to spend, their revenue, not their income, their revenue was 3 times. Yes, their revenue was 3 times their payroll.
Mm-hmm.
So they're making $200 and some million in profit. Not, as much as a lot of teams, but still, they're making money, and they're not putting it back into the team at all. If just say for example, let's just say the Marlins have a $90 million payroll. Say the revenue is $275 million, right? All right,
yes.
That's just under $200 million. You can't put 50 or 60 more million dollars. And when you do that, and the Padres proved this, the Padres decided to spend and to go over to luxury tax some years. And you know what happened? Their season tickets went up. Their ticket sales went up. Their merchandise went up. So when you do that, if you are good and if you make the playoffs, you're going to make that back and maybe more than that in tickets and all of that.
Yep.
So that's all they have to do. So it shocked me because we're thinking, oh, small market. I know you hate that term, but small market. Oh, poor Indians, well, Guardians, poor Marlins, poor Athletics. But you could be spending a lot more money than this. You're making money on your team.
Yes. I will compare it to Field of Dreams, right? If you build it, they will come. Well, if you're good, they will come, right? If your team is good, if you spend the money on your team and they are good, look at the games on TV. Watch the Marlins game and you see more seats than people. Watch the Dodgers games and you see more people than seats. If the team is good, they'll come out and see them. And it almost doesn't matter what the prices are. Do me a favor, guys. Go to the website for the Dodgers and try to buy 4 tickets to a Dodger game. It's going to cost you half your paycheck. Maybe 3/4, depending on where you work and what you do.
Part of that's California, obviously.
True. Yeah. But still, they can charge that money because they're good. So it's all a big cycle as far as I'm concerned. All right, Cheese, I don't want to get into this too much because I want to save some of it for our big special that we will do towards the end of the season when we talk about the CBA. So I don't want you to bait me and get me all upset here. But I will say this. If, we're talking about how much revenue these guys make and everything else, you're like, oh, well, they only make $250 million, which is not what some of the other teams make. If each of us made $250,000, if someone would sponsor us 10 years, each of us, $250,000 a piece, we'd both quit our jobs and we'd be doing specials like we did yesterday, where we got just tons of people coming out and watching us. We do it. That's all we need, right?
We would put so much more content out there. We would put so much more content than we do now. Absolutely. And it's because we have the ability to at that point. Right at the moment, we have limited ability because we have to feed our families first, right? We love you guys. We love that you guys are here, but we have a responsibility to them as well. So, if I get millions, I'm not going to hire Ryan Clark or anything for the show, but I would make so many more improvements. There we go. I've been waiting on that one. Anyway. All right, so let me be the Dodgers devil's advocate here. So despite everything that we've talked about, Cheese,
I'm going to play Dodgers Devils advocate for a moment. They are chasing history, Cheese. Back-to-back World Series titles has only been done by 2 other franchises in the history of Major League Baseball, the Yankees and the A's. And if I was the Dodgers, I'd want to be added to that list too. They have a top farm system. Now, so does Tampa, so does Milwaukee, but neither of those franchises were willing to part with those players to go out and get a guy like Skubal. The Dodgers were. And I'm going to tell you this, Cheese. I'm curious to hear your opinion here. The Dodgers are what's best for baseball because fans now have a villain. They are the New York Yankees of a century or so ago, and Ohtani is Jeter. We know he's good, but we also know that he's cocky, and we just want to see him get beamed in the skull a couple times when he's up to bat. It'll make for good cinema, and the postseason ratings will be massive because of it, especially if they face the Red Sox. Cheese, that's my devil's advocate thing for the Dodgers. I'd want to win back-to-backs. I have a great farm system. That's not my fault, and I'm better than all the other teams in having a good farm system. And I'm willing to part with my farm system in order to make my team now really good. And a lot of other teams aren't. What's wrong with that, Cheese?
You say the Dodgers are good for baseball?
Yes, they are. Hang on, let me look at you when I say it. Okay, I had to flip over to the other screen. Cheese, the Dodgers are great for baseball because you have a villain now. You said it yesterday. The Dodgers are Darth Vader,
but not as badass. But they are the main villain, yes.
Yes. You've got to have in any kind of a story, you've got to have a good villain. You can't just have one really good guy and he just conquers all and it's okay, all right. Like we didn't know that was going to happen in the end, right? You've got to have a good villain to give the good guy something to go after, to give you something to cheer for or against in this particular circumstance.
I'm just going to push back a little on this.
Okay, go ahead.
You brought up the Yankees. So I remember when I was a kid, the Yankees were winning a lot of World Series. They might have won like 4 out of 6. Maybe not that much, but they won a lot. And I knew people that were like, oh, the Yankees in the World Series again? I'm not watching.
Mm-hmm.
They weren't going to watch. I watched the World Series they played against the Braves. Did not go well for my Braves, but when it's the same team winning every year, I think some people just like, oh God, Dodgers again. They're not going to watch. They don't want to. They're not as invested in baseball. So I see what you're saying. Maybe some fan bases that usually don't get along can get along. Oh, yeah, but we hate the Dodgers even more. Oh yeah, I hate the Dodgers. But at the same time, if it's the same teams, it's like when the Chiefs were making the Super Bowl, like 4 out of 6 years they made it. They won 3. 5 out of 7. Patriots too. People were pissed. Oh,
it's an enemy, Chiefs. It's an enemy. It's a villain. People hated Tom Brady.
But some people didn't want to watch the Super Bowl, didn't want to watch the World Series because of that. I think it's better if there's different teams. Like I think the NBA's had like 8 or 9 straight different champions. That's good for that sport. They probably don't think so. They think dynasties are great. No, it's good because all those fan bases are watching. Like they've celebrated that. Like, you know, Knicks and Bucks and Nuggets have won in the last 5 years. They've all won NBA titles. The Raptors won like 6-7 years ago. That's good. That's what we want. We don't want the same things, same teams every year. The same one that like the Dodgers make the World Series again. It's going to really piss off a lot of people, but I understand what you're saying.
The other thing is this, and I think this is something that a lot of fans don't understand. Every team gets a cut of the TV revenue. Tell me, Cheese, when you had the 8 different champions in the NBA, and you had Toronto, and you had Denver, and you had some of these smaller market teams winning.
Milwaukee, Oklahoma City, yeah.
Were the TV revenues good, or were they as good as if the Lakers would have been in, or as
the ratings?
Yes, the TV ratings, because the higher the TV rating, no, right?
Oh,
You gotta
Nuggets
remember.
Heat. I don't think the Nuggets Heat had good ratings at all. I
No,
don't
not
know
at
the
all.
numbers. I'm not a big NBA guy. I know you're not either. I don't remember. I don't know, but I'm guessing the Heat versus Nuggets was not great for ratings. I'm guessing.
Right. So that means that pool of money is less. When you get really popular teams, we'll talk about how popular the Dodgers are here in just a moment, because that's going to be kind of my closing thought with this subject. When that happens and you've got so many more households watching, and the Fox and ESPN contracts and stuff depend on how high or how low the ratings are as to how much money Major League Baseball gets, and then Major League Baseball takes that pool of money and divides it amongst all 32 teams. So you can't tell me that some of these franchises, even though they're not going to the World Series, aren't happy that the Dodgers are.
NFL, yeah. I know they all have like share the TV. Well, they have local TV contracts. Like the Dodgers make so much money with their local TV contracts, though. Like the Dodgers make like their contract is huge. So postseason, yeah, they divide it, but local during the regular season, the Dodgers make more money than anyone else by far. And I don't know how the NBA necessarily works. And by the way, Pacers, Oklahoma City Thunder, a couple of years ago, that could not have done well at all. I just don't see it.
No. So it's not just as cut and dry as, oh God, the Dodgers are there again, or I want a different team in the World Series every year, right? That's pretty fan, right? I want
the fan we want to see that. We don't want the same teams. We'd like to see every team like be good and like just get there. It's see the different players in the World Series. You don't. You want the big teams in there every year.
No, I don't necessarily want the big teams. I want my team to be there. I want to be able to root for my team.
Sure, but it's not going to happen every time.
Okay, and that is the reality of it. So if I can't get my team in there, I at least want a team that's going to get really good revenue, and I want to have a competitive thing. I don't want Dodgers Rays. I don't want Dodgers White Sox, even though I love the White Sox and how they're playing right now. I just don't think the White Sox are good enough. That's why I was talking earlier. I want Dodgers Red Sox. That's what I want for the World Series. I'm crossing my fingers. I'm hoping so, because I think the Red Sox are good enough that they can beat the Dodgers. But
I kind of want Pirates
shine
White
some
Sox.
light on some other stuff.
I kind of want Pirates White Sox. I kind of do now, just because it'll irritate you.
Okay.
Pirates got they got a starter that could, maybe they could make a run if they get in. You never know.
Well, maybe we'll talk about that Pirate starter in a minute and how maybe they're not going to make a run because of him.
Uh-oh.
Hang on. But the Dodgers still owe as much deferred money as all the other 31 teams combined. And I believe that will catch up with them eventually.
It better.
Yes. But how many fans, Cheese, have said, I will sacrifice 10 crappy years as long as I can have a World Series title? Or how many football fans have said, man, you can give me 5 terrible years in the front of it and 5 terrible years in the back, but we got a Super Bowl?
At least half, maybe more. A lot
So
of them.
again,
It depends on the fan base, obviously. Chiefs fans aren't going to say it. Dodgers fans are going to say it. But a lot of them will, because you have that memory of that Super Bowl. You talk about it. Packer fans talk about the 96 Super Bowl so much more, even more than the 2011 one. They talk about that one. The return to the Super Bowl. They hadn't been there since Super Bowl 1 and 2. Packer fans talk about that, where they were, what happened that year. So I think at least half and maybe more would take that.
So it's a magical run, right?
Yeah.
It's
You want titles. The worst thing for your team is to be one of the best teams in the league for so many years in a row and not even win a championship at that run. That is devastating. It's better to be bad and have one title than to be like what the Buffalo Bills are, make the playoffs every year, and they just can't do it in the postseason. We'll see. I mean, they could win a title with Josh Allen, but if Josh Allen never wins a title and he makes the playoffs like 15 years, oh, that's devastating.
Mm-hmm. It's terrible to be the Pittsburgh Steelers, in my opinion. The most mediocre team in all of sports.
They've won Super Bowls, though. They've won like 6 of them.
They haven't won hardly anything in the last 15 years, but they're hanging their hat on, hey, we're average. We have not had a losing season, and that's what they're hanging their hat on.
True.
Right? So Why won't some of these teams that have great farm systems, the Tampas, the Milwaukees of the world, why won't they go all in? Why won't they push their chips to the center? Why didn't Milwaukee or Tampa go get Tarek Skubal and 3 or 4 other pitchers and 2 hitters at the trade deadline? Because a lot of people were available. Why didn't they go out and do that? Why won't they make that move? And they're like, oh, we can't deplete our farm system. You can if you can get a World Series out of it.
I hate to defend the Brewers here. I hate to do this, but two points. One, the Dodgers were getting Skubal. They were gonna do anything and everything to get him, from what I read. They were gonna match anybody else. And the Brewers, they can't do what the Dodgers do. The Dodgers can trade their farms from the farm system, and then just sign. And if they have a hole in their lamp, they can just throw money at. They can throw all this money at Kyle Tucker, which will be a dumb contract, but that's what they can do. The Brewers don't. Maybe they should spend more. They probably should, but the Brewers aren't going to do that. They're not going to go out there and sign a pitcher for $300 million. They're not going to sign a hitter for $400 million. They can't fill a hole that way. So they fill holes through their farm system. So that is why, and it's a shame. That they couldn't get Skubal. I mean, I'm happy they didn't, but it's a shame that they couldn't because of that. But it's the way the baseball, the rules are, and that's why we need change.
I'm going to look something up for a moment because you've got me thinking about something here, but I want to make sure that I'm right before I open my big mouth.
But I'll say this: we're going to rank the teams at some point.
Yeah, we're not doing it today. It's just going to take us too long today.
I think the Brewers got caught by a few teams, possibly. Maybe not in the standings overall by the end of the season, but maybe in the postseason. I might not have them as high as I would have had them before the deadline.
Okay.
Like Dustin May, I mean, okay. I mean, it's. I mean, the power of the ginger. Maybe not. Maybe he'll be amazing. Who knows? That the Braves and the Brewers, especially, like their fan bases. As a Braves fan, expected to get some kind of number 2 or number 3 starter and didn't get it. So Dustin May is not a number 2 starter.
Okay. Here are the high contracts for the Brewers over the last 10 years. Christian Yelich got a 9-year $215. Ryan Braun got 5, $105. Jackson Churio has 8 at $82. Lorenzo Cain, remember Lorenzo Cain? 5 years at $80. Cooper Pratt.
He was a good player.
Okay. For the Brewers.
The Royals, too. Okay.
Cooper Pratt, 8 years at $50. Matt Garza, pitcher, 4 years at $50.
Oh, that was a terrible contract.
Okay. But this is what I mean by these teams like the Brewers. My Reds fall in this category. The Pirates, there's a lot of teams that fall in this category. Two contracts over $100 million. Geez, in this day and age, that's not going to get it done. And it's not like they're not making money. I don't understand why they don't spend more money. I don't expect them all to be the Dodgers. We don't need $400 million, right? But I'd like to see everybody at $200.
I would too. But I also don't think someone should be able to spend $400.
Yes, I agree with you. And that's what I said. The top is broken and the bottom is broken. We need to find a solution in the middle. And I got to tell you guys, I'm not going to break my arm patting myself on the back here, but I really think I have a solution to where we make everybody more in the middle and we fix the top and we fix the bottom.
You mentioned the bottom's broken. It's because some of these owners bought teams and they put the money in their pocket. Oh, I can make money. If I just have a low payroll, I'm still going to make money. So let's just have a low payroll. And maybe if we're good, okay, good. But I'm still not going to spend money. They put the money in their pocket. But one thing you mentioned is really important. You mentioned Christian Yelich. You say 9 years, 200-some million?
Do I still have it up? Hang on, let me see if I've still.
I think you said 9 years, 215.
I've still got it here. Let's see.
That's a disaster.
Yeah,
right
9 years,
now.
215. Yep.
That's a disaster right now. He's not very good anymore. At the time, he's one of the best hitters in baseball. The first 2 years of contract probably were fine, but like now, that's terrible. Aaron Nola has 4 years left on his deal. He's not a very good pitcher for the Phillies. So yes, spending more is good, but giving these long-term big contracts, that's what they're trying to avoid. That's what they can't afford to do. Um, so that's why they didn't want to give all the prospects. But yeah, Yelich, that contract's so bad right now.
Okay, but Cheese, you know you can't have your cake and eat it too, right? You can't have all the prospects, and then you can't say we're not going to spend any money, but somehow magically we want to have a great team. That's not how it works.
I agree. No, that's a really good point. And the Brewers have been one of the best regular season teams the last 4 years. And when they get in the postseason, they haven't done shit.
And why is that? I can tell you 100% why that is.
Okay, go ahead. No, you go ahead. You tell me.
It's because they're good against the teams that they beat the teams they're supposed to beat. But once they get to the upper echelon teams, they can't do it. They're not equipped well enough to do it. And they're never going to be unless they either spend more money or give up some of those prospects. They're never going to get over that hump. The Brewers are at that, all right, I'm above average. You know, there are a lot of teams that just they're barely above water, right? Their chin is up here. Well, the Brewers have their chest out too, right? But they're never going to get any further than that unless they either spend money or are willing to part with their prospects to get the players that push them over the top.
Yeah, I think in the playoffs, besides Mizorowski, like what other starting pitcher is going to scare you? What other starting pitcher can shut down a lineup? I don't think they have one.
No.
But I think their biggest problem is going to be 18 of the last 20 World Series champions have been a top 10 team in home runs. They're last. 18 of the last 20. And the two that weren't, I doubt they were last. I don't know. But they were talking about that MLB Network. 18 of the last 20. And I think it's been 6 straight champions have been in the top 10 in home runs. So they don't hit the ball in the ballpark at all. So, you know, they're going to have to manufacture runs in the postseason and win multiple series doing it.
Well, and then as we've said, right, once you get into the playoffs, you play better defenses. Once you get into the playoffs, you're having to hit off of better pitchers. And if you can't smack it over the fence every once in a while, and you have to worry about getting 4 hits strung in a row to get 1 run, when you've got a good defense out there and you've got a good pitching staff out there, that's hard to do.
Yeah, you're going to run the starting pitchers don't walk anybody either. You're not going to – you mentioned the Brewers maybe taking advantage. They're playing bad teams that have pitchers that walk you a lot. Maybe they're taking a lot of walks. Well, postseason, you're not going to face those pitchers. You're going to have to get hits.
Yeah. Okay, Cheese. Last thing before we get to batting cleanup presented by ForwardFan.com. We'll get to them here in just a second. Here's the last thing. Again, this is not something that insults our fans, and I don't want them to take it that way, but I'm banking a lot of people don't know this. You mentioned it earlier, but I bet not even you know the extent to how right you are. The Dodgers were allowed to restructure their local television deal, not the national one, not MLB TV, not ESPN, not Fox. That we're not talking about that. All we're talking about is their local TV market deal. So their local TV market deal, they were able to restructure it with Time Warner because Time Warner used to own the Dodgers, and then in part of that deal where the new people came in and bought it, they were smart. And they were like, okay, we're going to restructure this and we're going to make this contract backloaded for our television deal. And what we're going to do, guys, this is how they did it. It's so smart. I don't like to say they're smart, but daggone it, they were smart. They had 5 or 6 years to build up their farm system. And they had 5 or 6 years to go through and get everything put together the way they wanted. And then this contract became backloaded. This year, Cheese, the Dodgers will receive, you ready? A guaranteed $320 million just from their local market TV deal. And then when that local market TV deal concludes in year 2038, because of the fact that it's backloaded, they'll get a guaranteed $500 million just in their local TV contract deal. In comparison, the Diamondbacks, that are currently second place in that division and are trying to compete with the Dodgers, there's no way they can because on their local market TV deal, they are owned actually by Major League Baseball, and baseball gives them a percentage of the revenue. So number one, they don't know how much they're going to get. They're just like, oh, we don't know. How can you put a team together when you don't know how much revenue you're going to get? How can you put a team together when you don't know how much money you're going to get from that deal? Here's what Major League Baseball guarantees them: somewhere between 33 and 100. That's a huge number. How can you do that? That gives the Dodgers such an advantage. Not only that they can get the $320 million, but that the teams closest to them don't know if they're going to get 33 or 100 at max. That's insane. And Major League Baseball allowed them to do that when they came in and that new group bought the Dodgers.
So that's just money in their pocket before they get any money on tickets,
Yes.
concessions, jersey sales, anything else. There are teams that do not have a revenue of would you say 320 million?
Yes.
There are teams that don't, the few teams that don't even have that in revenue total for everything. There are teams that locked into 25-year TV contracts. At the time, it seemed like a smart deal, but inflation and everything, and they're just screwed. They're hardly getting anything out of their deal. So, yeah, and that's one of the reasons why I think a lot of people want a salary cap, because how can you compete with that?
Well, but a salary cap's not going to do anything for that. You're still going to
they can't have a $400 million payroll and pay this $200 million tax bill. Like if you have a salary cap and they're still making money on the team, like if the Tampa Bay Rays spent $400 million on their payroll, they would lose money. They would, and I'm
not denying that.
So that's the point I'm trying to make. Their TV contract is so much more that they're already like almost in the positive just from the TV contract.
Yes, that's a huge advantage that none of the other teams have. From what I could tell, from what I could research, the second highest is the Giants, right behind them. And again, the Dodgers make 320, and the next highest team is going to make somewhere between 120 and 140 million. So not even half. Right?
Some teams make 25 million on their TV contract.
Yeah, there are some teams that do that. But again, if they want to make more on their TV contract, they should put a better product on TV.
That's one thing about the NFL. It's great. There's no local TV contract. It's all national. They all get. There's 32 teams. That TV money divided by 32 goes to all the teams. That's the way NFL works.
And maybe that's what somebody on this panel is going to propose should happen to Major League Baseball.
Jacksonville Jaguars make the same money in TV contract as the Dallas Cowboys, despite Dallas always getting all these primetime games. Same thing with the Chiefs. Same thing with whatever team. They make the same amount of money in TV every year.
But that's just the TV revenue, right? If Dallas
revenue.
Gets 4 or 5 primetime games, they know they're going to make more money off those primetime games.
Yeah, I mean, they're going to, of course. But the TV contract, that's one thing with the NFL. That's why there's more competitive balance. But the difference in the NFL is the quarterback. There's no position in baseball that, dictates. That's why there's still so many teams that are always good, because the quarterback situation. There's no position in baseball that's that dominant. But one of the best things about the NFL is the salary cap and the fact they split the TV money.
All right, buddy. Let's go. Okay, well, I think we beat this Dodgers horse enough. So let's let the poor horse get back up. And then we'll jump
good discussion, though.
It was a great discussion. It really was. I've looked forward to this for a little bit. I've kind of had some notes on the side, and I was like, okay, trade deadline. Everybody's talking about him. Now's the time to pull this out. So that's what we ended up doing today. Thank you for being a part of it. And fans, thank you guys for being a part of it, too. We appreciate it. Have any comments for us? Maybe you're watching this 2 or 3 days afterward. Direct message us. Leave the comment below on the YouTube site, and we will certainly comment back on your comment. We appreciate all of the help that we can get from each and every one of you. Now let's jump into batting cleanup, presented by ForwardFan.com. I have to say, ForwardFan.com has been a great source for us. We certainly do appreciate them. Let me see if I can get their piece up here, if I can find it real quick, as I kind of meander and do this here. They have been great for us. We appreciate them. They have given.
William gave us a thumbs up. So we're going to give you a thumbs up. Buddy.
Oh, that's right, buddy. We will. Hang on. I'll put that up on the screen here in just a second. I don't see what I was trying to find there, so that's fine.
Mike's a Dodgers fan now.
Yeah. I'm trying to do a bunch of stuff at once. I had to bring in a social media manager and pay them out of my own pocket because we just got so much going on and I just can't keep up with it all. But I want to, as we talked about earlier, right? We want to keep going forward with this whole thing with All Gloves Off Sports Media. So that was the choice that I made. I'm not crying about it or anything. It was my choice. I didn't ask anybody else. I did it myself. And now we're going to really jump into the social media market. You're going to see us out there a whole lot more. So stay tuned. We got a lot of stuff coming. ForwardFan.com is going to help us do that as well. Please go over to ForwardFan.com. You can get tickets to the World Series. You can now get tickets to what they have to call the big game in February because, the word Super Bowl is protected by the National Football League. So, they can't use that. But that's the game that it's for, right? If you love your team and you have a bucket list of going to the big game, ForwardFan.com can help you, and they give you great discounted prices right now. It's fantastic. Please go over there and use our code AGO10. All gloves off, right? That's what AGO is. AGO10. And you'll get 10% more off of those tickets that you buy for our loyal listeners. All right, Cheese, I'm going to put this up.
Bengals are doing it. I guaranteed it. Bengals guaranteed they're going to win the Super Bowl. Bengals fans, do it. Do it.
Yeah, you and your positivity over there are pretty much guaranteed that every team's going to go to the Super Bowl.
There's going to be a tie. There's going to be a 5-way tie in the AFC for the Super Bowl.
I'm surprised you're not saying there's going to be a 6-way tie and there's only 5 teams.
The teams will get together. They'll pick a champion and they'll have a knife fight. They'll be knifing each other. Whoever survives, they get to go to the Super Bowl against the Rams.
You know what they're doing? They're just going to do a pause. They're just going to do daggone it.
There should be no knifing.
The participation trophies. That's what they're going to do. They're just going to pass out participation trophies to all of them, and we all win. Yay! Okay. Anyway.
You don't want knifing? Okay. There'll be no knifing. There'll be no knifing.
We don't want to promote violence, sir.
Okay.
So we said a certain coach turns 101 as of yesterday. Cheese, you know who it is?
I do, but you tell us.
I'll show it to him. How about that?
Yes. Pretty cool.
Yes. Marv Levy, ladies and gentlemen. Let me get this piece off.
Yeah, he was when I was the little kid. He was the coach of the Bills. When the Bills had really
there we go.
Games.
Marv Levy, ladies and gentlemen. He is, as of yesterday, 101 years young, maybe? Sure.
Good for him, man. That's awesome. I had no idea he was still alive. It's like the Mandela effect. I mean, if somebody told me he died 10 years ago, I would be like, oh, okay. So that's pretty cool.
I like it. So we're going to celebrate him for a moment. Happy birthday, Marv. We certainly.
Maybe he's waiting till the Bills win the Super Bowl. He's not going to die until they win. So he's going to live forever then.
Oh, man. Pitchers, ladies and gentlemen. Let's move on.
Really
man.
cool,
And you have a football channel. Anyway, pitchers in the last 6 seasons who have had 5 consecutive starts in a row with 10 or more strikeouts in the last 6 seasons. In 2021, there was none. In 2022, Shohei Ohtani did it. In 2023, there was none. 2024, none. 2025, none. And as of Saturday, now there's one in 2026. And that guy, hang on, let me get his picture up here. That guy is this guy. Do you know who it is?
Mizraski?
No, we were just talking about him a few moments ago. Gavin Williams.
Oh, yeah, he's having a really good season.
He's having a great season. He was the one that Tim Towel bunted against for the perfect game that we were talking about earlier.
That's right.
Yes. So listen to the stat line, though, and think about how hard this is to do, Cheese. You've had to have 5 consecutive starts and strike out 10 or more batters in those 5 consecutive starts. And to know how hard it is, only 2 people have done it in the last 6 years, and one of them is named Shough.
That's really impressive.
Stat.
I mean, it's not like, it may not seem like amazing if you watch like Randy Johnson go 7-8 innings, but in today's baseball, a lot of good pitchers go 5 innings, 5 2/3. So it's much harder to get 10 strikeouts in 5 consecutive games. That's pretty cool. So that's awesome.
All right. We teased this at the beginning, so I want to make sure we follow through with this one as well. I'm going to be a little better of getting this picture up a little faster this time. So let me have that pulled up there. Let me go over here to this, and then we're going to do some different things here. So from the X account of Opta Stats, which you guys need to follow them. If you're not on X, we do. They follow us. Great account. Over 3,000 players, Cheese, have debuted in the major leagues since 1900 that were 21 or under. But only one of them has done this. Only one has had 5+ total bases in each of his first games. Each of his first 2 games, 5 or more total bases. Mm-hmm. Do you know who it was?
I do know who it is because he's on my fantasy team, and it's got to be Max Clark. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, he's 0 for 2 today, but he's 0 for 2 today. But yeah, he's one of the best prospects in baseball. He can absolutely mash.
Yes, he can. So for those of you who are like, oh man, the Tigers, they lost School, they're going to fall off the face of the earth. I don't think so. Even though they also lost Casey Mize. No. I don't think you really have to worry about it too much. The Tigers will still be competitive.
They have Torkelson, and they have Keith, and they have McGonigal, and they have Dingler, and they have Riley Green. Like, they have a core young group of hitters. They'll be fine. They pitching hopefully will get better, but they'll be fine. It just did not go well this year, but they have a positive run differential. They just underachieved.
Yes. All right. This team, let me take the header off real quick for us. Here's the stat that I was talking about. Another pitching stat. Jeez, let me pull it up here as we set everything up. Here it is.
Setting everything up. Look at you. Okay.
Yes. Paul Skeens.
Oh wow.
This season, Paul Skeens has thrown 95 pitches at 98 miles an hour or greater. But in 2004, he did that in 3 starts. And in 2005, he did it in 5 starts. This year, it took him 21 starts to do it. And I wanted to bring up this graphic. There's 2004, 98 mile per hour pitches thrown by Paul Skeens. You can see 698 of them. In 2025, he threw 863. But in 2026, this year, he's only thrown 95. Jeez. What do we make of this?
You know what? I want to know what you make of this. You're the baseball guy. What do you make of this? I mean, I have a theory, but I feel like you might know something. You might have a good theory here.
You can't consistently, though your body is not made to consistently throw the ball this hard. The Brewers need to take advantage of Mizorowski right now because they're not going to have, I mean, they're going to have this in 2 or 3 years. You just can't do it, Cheese. The only guy I've ever seen that did it, and I did see some of his games because, yes, I'm old as dirt. I know you're going to say it. I did see Nolan Ryan pitch and do this. I guess to a certain extent, Randy Johnson did it. And, there's been a few pitchers kind of here and there that have done it. But look at this. From 689, 863 down to 95. And I also want to say this. I don't know Paul Skeens. I've watched several of his performances on the mound. I would think, Cheese, that unless his arms get ready to fall off, he's going to go out there and pitch all he can do for his team. And that might be part of this as well.
Yeah, I mean, going into the season, this was his 3rd year, but his first 2 years, his ERA was under 2, his career ERA. He won the rookie year, then he won Cy Young. last year, and he probably threw more pitches than he ever has. And it, I, for the Pirates' sake, I hope this isn't something normal because his ERA is almost 4. It's like a completely different pitcher. Uh, I don't know. My first thought when I heard this is like, well, maybe he's trying to be more of a finesse pitcher and not just throw as hard as he can and maybe he'll have the same results, but the results have not been there. He gave up 45 runs all of last year total, right?
Mm-hmm.
He's given up 61 runs so far this year, and we have 2 months to go. It's not gone well for him at all. If you're Pirates, you have to be very concerned about this because he has just not been even close to what he was his first 2 years.
Would you be concerned enough to possibly shut him down if you fall out of this wild card race?
I think it depends. I think it depends how he's feeling. I don't know. But I would be tempted, to be honest with you. And the Brewers even being a little careful with Mizorowski. A lot of times, like there was a game where they took him out after 4 innings because he threw like 80 pitches.
Mm-hmm.
They skipped the start right before the All-Star break.
Yep. Wouldn't let him pitch in the All-Star game.
But you make such a good point. People that throw like 99, 100, 102, that's probably not sustainable for your career. Eventually, your arm's going to wear out. You need to probably, like Mizorowski, like giving him like a Chase Burns contract is probably not a good idea. Unfortunately for the Brewers, but this has definitely got to be concerning if you're a Pirates fan.
Mm-hmm. And it does worry me about Chase Burns a little bit. Chase Burns doesn't throw as hard as some of these other guys do, but he's up there. And then they're going to limit his innings. So I think you may see a little bit of backlash here from the Reds fan base, especially if they continue to win and they continue to kind of climb back into this wild card race. And then all of a sudden the Reds go, no, we're going to shut down Chase Burns. I think you'll have people just going crazy. It's like, oh, we worked and finally got to this point, and now you're going to shut Chase Burns down? But I would be tempted to shut Paul Skeens down.
Yeah, Chase Burns. Look, I would do if they're out of the playoffs. They should at some point.
Mm-hmm.
I agree with you. Look at Cade Horton. Cade Horton had never thrown close to the amount of innings as he did last year. He was one of the best pitchers in baseball in the second half of the season for the Cubs. He made 1 or 2 starts this year, blew his elbow out. He was tired. Like it just, yeah. He even with an off season to recover, he blew it out. So yeah, it's just pitching. I remember when the Braves had all these pitchers, this good group of young pitchers. Chris Medlin had 3 Tommy John surgeries. Like, Tommy Hanson, shoulder gave out. Julio Teheran. Like, all these young pitchers, they all got hurt. Jair Jurgens. They just, like, pitching is so, you never know. You could be Alex Manoah, one of the best pitchers in baseball 1 year. 2 years later, one of the worst pitchers in baseball.
Yep.
You never know.
He's not even in the game now.
Not even in the game. So, I guess you just draft pitching, like, nonstop because you need depth.
And here's thank you. You've set me up here a little bit because I was thinking about this earlier and I was like, no. I might bring it up when we talk about Paul Skeens. Yeah, do the owners care about Paul Skeens at all? So if he breaks down and never throws another pitch, they're not going to care about him. They're not going to give him money. They're not going to help him out and do anything for him. And that's why these players want these huge contracts, right? I want this guaranteed money just in case something happens to me, and I'll still be able to feed my family.
Yeah, with pitching, it's just different. It's just different. The arm, the stress you put on your elbow, your shoulder, it's just different. And like you said, the harder you throw, great problems. And we've seen guys, this, like pitcher might be fine. And then they start throwing in February in spring training and all of a sudden their shoulder's hurting.
Mm-hmm.
And then they're shut down. And then they come back to May and then their elbow hurts. And then they maybe they hurt their foot or their Achilles and they come back and it changes their mechanics. And then they have another injury and it just messes them. It lose their control, lose their command. It's just, pitching is such a volatile, position in all of sports. And
I'll give you another great Reds example.
yeah,
Hunter Green.
is he healthy?
He's finally healthy.
Finally.
Hopefully.
Yeah, and maybe they should have. Well, I don't think they should have, but maybe they should have traded him if they gotten blown away. They may have, but
No.
maybe they should.
I'll go that far.
Yeah, but the point I'm making is maybe you never know. He could just keep getting hurt, and they'll regret it if they got some amazing offer. But I don't think because he's been hurt, there's no way they got this unbelievable offer, like 3 top 50 prospects. No,
Probably
I don't.
not.
I think then they'd listen, but no. I think teams were like, "Oh yeah, we'll take him. We'll give you like this guy and this guy. They're pretty good, But
And his contract is fantastic. It's team friendly as far as that part goes. All right, Cheese, last one. We said we wanted to try to keep this to an hour and a half, and I don't know if you can see the time, but I can. We have shot the hour and a half time by a good margin here. So I got one more, buddy. Remember last week, Cheese, when we said, or we actually asked our fans, are home runs really that important? And we had the graphic up there, and you mentioned it earlier where the Brewers are last in baseball in home runs, yet they've got one of the best records in all of the majors. Well, let me give you this stat. Miguel Vargas, Munetaka Murakami, there we go, and Colston Montgomery, man, have all homered in the same game 5 times this season for the Chicago White Sox.
Okay, that's pretty
that has not been done since Cody Bellinger, Corey Seager, and Jock Peterson all did it for what team?
Dodgers.
The Dodgers. Yes, we had to end everything with another Dodger reference, but it's funny how they're coming back, and they're doing it on the home run ball, but yet you've got a team like Milwaukee who's also there, and they're doing it off of get them over, get them over, get them on, get them over, get them in. That's how you say it. There we go.
Yeah, they take a lot of walks. They get a lot of hits. They don't strike out much, but might not work in the postseason. We'll see.
We'll see, but I wanted to bring that up because I want to say this as we kind of close everything out, buddy. There are different ways to do it offensively, and there are different ways to do it pitching-wise. The Royals did it with a fantastic bullpen. There's different ways when they went to the World Series. There's all kinds of different ways to do it. There's not one clear-cut that way always works, even if it is the homers, as you mentioned earlier. What they say, the last 10 World Series champions have been top 10 in home runs, right?
8, I think 6 straight and 18 of the last 20 World Series champions have been the top 10 in homers, and a lot of them been top 4. So like the Braves in 2021, they were top 4. So at some point, the hanging slider, you're going to have to hit out of the park. The hanging slider, you can't slap a single to left. You're going to have to get some hits out of you're going to hit some home runs. The fact the Brewers are dead last, probably not setting up for a deep postseason run. We'll see. You never know, because they do have Mizorowski who can shut down the lineup, but they're going to have to probably do more than just manufacture runs in the postseason.
All right. I like this discussion, man. We had a really good time tonight. I hope you guys did too. Thank you all very much for being with us. This is the Lights Out Sports Podcast. We are going to take a break tomorrow, thank God, and it's just going to give me a time to work 16 hours. So we're going to take a break tomorrow, and then we'll be back with you on Thursday. Cheese, tell us why we'll be back on Thursday, buddy. What are we doing?
So we're doing the watch-along for the Hall of Fame game. It's the Panthers versus the Cardinals. So the good news is you can mute it and listen to us. We're not going to sit there and analyze all the game, or especially in the second half when these players are probably going to be cut, most of them. We're going to talk a lot of NFL topics. So there's a lot of things going on. There's some extensions. There's some potential holdouts or hold-ins. So we'll talk a lot about that. And it starts at 8 Eastern, 5 Pacific. We'll go live probably about 10 minutes before the game starts.
Okay, so I can tell you, I know we're going to talk Atlanta Falcons. I know we're going to talk Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Cheese, give us a couple other teams that we're going to talk about on Thursday.
Well, we'll talk about the Cardinals and Panthers for sure. The teams playing the game. We'll talk about Larry Fitzgerald. We might talk a little about the Packers, of course. Of
course.
Yeah, of course we will. Yeah, and we'll just.
Then it's it's not just Larry Fitzgerald. You got two other guys going into the Hall of Fame. You got Luke Kuechly that does play for the Carolina Panthers, and you have Drew Brees as well. So I'm sure we'll do some topics on all three of those great guys going into the Hall of Fame. In fact, I'll set this up, Cheese. I want to ask you where each one of those guys fits in over the last, we'll say, 10 or 12 years in their respective positions. Where's Luke Kuechly fit in? Where does Larry Fitzgerald fit in? And where does Drew Brees fit in? Last, we'll say 12 years. Where do those guys fit in? And, I'm sure you're going to say they deserve to be in the Hall, but we'll find out.
All I want to do is say you where I think they deserve, but I got to hold it for Thursday.
Okay. Sounds good, buddy. Anything you want to add to the end of the show today, sir?
Yes, Football with Cheese. Follow me on YouTube, Football with Cheese, X Football Cheese. I'm doing all 32 teams. If you're a fan of any team, I'm doing it 32 teams, 32 days. Hype it up your team. Everything go right with your franchise this season.
All right. We want to say thank you to ForwardFan.com. We want to say thank you to Deutsch Snacking Company, to Frost Buddy, and there's one more that I'm forgetting. Let me look through the list of 5core.com. So we really appreciate all of those sponsors. We appreciate all of you getting us to the point to where we can start reeling in sponsors. We certainly appreciate it. Thank you all very much. We will see you not next Tuesday. We'll see you in 2 days on Thursday, right here on a very special Canton football edition of the Lights Out Sports Podcast. But until then, as we always say at the end of every one of these broadcasts, the only thing that's fair in life is a baseball hit between the third and first base lines. Good evening, everyone.